Protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
No school means no lunch for millions of kids in the summer. Let's come together, food banks, families, and generous individuals like you to make sure no child goes without food in the summer. Together, we can make a difference. Learn more at feedingamerica.org/summer.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
All right, one last look here. Traffic and weather for your ride in on this Friday morning. 2 accidents to report, one at Brookfield Road and one at Richland Northeast High School, then another one at Two Notch Road in North Rampion Hills, so make sure you're careful as you're making your way through those areas. Today, partly sunny, high of 91. Tomorrow, high of 92 with a mix of clouds and sunshine. 94 with the same clouds and sunshine on Sunday. That's traffic and weather on your Friday here on The Game.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Oh, 9 o'clock on your Friday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head in studio here on Gervais Street. Jack Veltri joining me on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, as he'll be doing a couple of times this morning, because my friend, Camp Day has finally arrived. We're putting on the helmets. We're putting on shoulder pads. Well, maybe not all that today, but at some point in the next couple of days, we're finally practicing ahead of the season, 29 days away from kickoff.
Yeah, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, I mean, today's the day. I heard you talk about the traffic report with the sunny skies. It is nothing but gray, cloudy skies outside right now. Definitely a little bit of fog in the air. But you know what? It's feeling like football weather enough today to where it's not boiling hot outside. So I'm excited to see what we see. Hopefully we see something today, and we'll go from there, and it'll give us something to talk about.
Well, when you were playing football, and I don't know what day you guys started preseason camp or whatever, I imagine you probably were rooting for some clouds and some overcast as opposed to boiling sunshine, right?
Oh, yeah. There would be times where we would be starting back in high school at like 6 in the morning during the summer just so we could beat the heat a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it's hot in August in South Carolina, but it feels pretty good out right now, and I think a big part of that is just that it's cloudy outside.
Well, things get rolling. So I know they said 9:25. You told me yesterday it doesn't actually start until 9:41. Is the first 15 minutes just the stretching?
So here's how it works. So, yeah, we got the email yesterday, just an updated one, that media will be allowed to come in for the first period at 9:43 a.m., I believe.
Okay.
So a little bit later, I'm sure the guys are going to be in there doing their thing, stretching, whatnot. We'll probably catch the tail end of that, and then hopefully the periods will start after that. Hopefully period one does not start while they're stretching. But whenever the periods begin, we'll get rolling, and we'll probably be there for, about 15, 20 minutes. I'm sure things will move outside, or if not outside, they'll be inside doing their individual work probably. That's usually how it goes. And again, we're not going to see them in pads, just helmets today. That's pretty standard protocol procedure for these early days of practice. I'm sure tomorrow will be the same exact way. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how much we actually end up seeing beyond stretching.
Yeah, day one is shells and shorts, right?
Yep.
So that's what we'll have coming up today. And, yeah, again, Jack will be out there along with Wes and Chris. And we'll keep you updated. Jack will try and get back here sometime in the 10 o'clock hour and give an update on what he did see out there at camp. And we'll go from there. We obviously have a lot of sound yesterday from pre-camp media day, Beamer talk, the players talk, the assistants talk. So I knew you were bouncing around to a lot of different people, and I'll play some of that sound as the hour goes along while you're out there at camp. But anything in particular stand out to you yesterday, Jack?
I heard a lot of good things about Noah Clark, the freshman defensive tackle. He's a big guy, obviously, but some of the veterans in that D-line room were talking about how he just does not. He's not your typical freshman, right? That comes in and he's a guy I think South Carolina is going to have a few guys rotating in and out at that defensive tackle position, and I think Noah's probably the guy that's going to be one of them. Don't sleep on Aiden Harris either. That's another guy that is another big dude that can help out in that room. Beyond that, bouncing around to some of the different guys, talking about competitions and whatnot. There's the kicker battle going on. Just there was a lot of different things going on yesterday. Those are probably the few things that come to mind. Spoke to a lot of different guys yesterday. There's a lot of, confidence, it feels like, heading into this season.
Well, speaking of Noah Clark real quick, since you brought him up, he definitely wins the getting off the bus award, because when you look at his size and you look at his measurables, standing at 6'5", 345 pounds, he don't look like a freshman. And I've not seen him in person myself yet, but what you've told me, what everybody else has told me that has been able to put eyes on him, is he is an absolute unit that's bigger than some of the offensive linemen he's going to be going up against playing on the interior D-line. And it would not shock anybody if he does find his way onto the field in a serious role this season.
Yeah, no, definitely big dude. Of course, yesterday, one of the main takeaways is the update on Dylan Stewart, Jacarius Peak. I actually did get a chance to talk to Peak for a few minutes yesterday. I was a little skeptical of whether or not South Carolina would have him out there with his injury, but because I don't think they had Dylan Stewart out there, if I'm not mistaken. Did not see him out there, but Peak was out there talking to the media, and because you want to ask specifics about the injury and whatnot.
Sure.
But these guys play kind of coy with that sort of stuff, which, hey, understandable. Media trained, I get it. But, yeah, we really still don't have an exact timetable on when he's going to be back. Beamer did say that him and Stewart won't be practicing in full today, so we'll see. That'll be one of the main things to keep an eye on today is, are they out there at all in any capacity? Do they have helmets on? Are they in uniform? Or are they just kind of in street clothes hanging out? Getting some other work in, right? So I think that's probably the main thing to look for today as far as progress goes. Are they going to be out there in any capacity?
Yeah, that's going to be something we're following through this entire preseason camp. Again, you have the advantage of your first two games being against lesser teams that allow those two guys to take a couple of extra weeks if they need it to get fully healthy before you start playing your 10-week stretch of 9 SEC games and then Clemson to wrap up the regular season. So it's going to be interesting to follow that. Again, Beamer's going to get asked about it every time he's speaking. Every time assistants get up there on defense, they're going to be asked about it as well. And, again, hoping these guys are at full health when we need them coming up this year. But, by all means, take your time. And if you need a couple extra weeks, take it, because it's more important to get you back to full health than trying to rush things along and those guys, both of them, getting hurt again.
Yeah, no, totally. So that's probably the main thing that I'm probably looking for when we get there is, are those guys out there? Are they going through practice? Are they very limited? What's – and I know it's day one, so I'm sure they're getting right after it. But I will be interested to see what capacity they are out there practicing, if they are going through practice with the team today.
Well, we'll follow those updates as the morning goes along. And, again, you'll hopefully be in here in the 10 o'clock hour and give us what you saw out there on the field. By the way, you're going to talk with Eric Kane of VolQuest coming up here in about 10 minutes as we've been bouncing around, looping back to some of the teams that Carolina's going to play as all teams begin camp. We'll talk about what's going on with Tennessee Volunteers and things to look forward to with that game that South Carolina has against them coming up in late October. Eric Kane of VolQuest coming up here in about 10 minutes. But, Jack, we are 29 days away from kickoff, and the number 29 brings me back to last year's game against Alabama, a game that South Carolina lost 29-22. But there's a particular moment in that game that may have gotten forgot about, and that was when South Carolina scored the touchdown. Let's see, that was early in the fourth quarter with right at 10 minutes to go when Sellers ran in from 10 yards out and scored. That made the game, at the time, 22-14, which is an 8-point game against Alabama when they opted not to go for 2. Do you remember in the couple days after that when Jody Camillus got up there and spoke on Wednesday or whenever it was the assistants were speaking, he got very angry that Joel Klatt had called him out or called South Carolina out for not going for 2 and making that a 2-score game potentially with 10 minutes to go. Do you remember that, Jack?
I do remember it. I do recall. For some reason, I don't remember being at that press conference. I think I had something going on with basketball or something at that point. But I do remember hearing about it afterwards, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like, yeah, I caught me off guard.
I didn't understand that because, and I'm pretty sure it was Joel Klatt because Jody talked about people on podcasts that have never had to make those decisions. But I agreed with what Klatt was saying of like, hey, you had an opportunity with 10 minutes to go in the game to make it a 2-score game against Alabama. Now, hey, you still could have potentially lost that game with the way things went down the stretch, but Alabama plays things a lot differently being down 2 scores as opposed to being down 1 because their next drive ate up almost 8 minutes of the game where they scored the then-tying touchdown to make it 22-all after they made the 2-point conversion themselves. So the reason I'm bringing this up is, like so many things we're talking about going into this year, you can't miss opportunities like that. There were a lot of times last year, whether it be play call, 4th down decisions, or in this instance, a 2-point play where or a lack of an opportunity of taking a 2-point play where I felt like South Carolina missed a lot of opportunities or didn't handle situations the right way. And I feel like that's something that definitely is going to have to be cleaned up because guess what? You're going to be playing in a lot of other tight games, probably against Alabama in week number 4, on the road in Tuscaloosa, and you can't be playing the what-if game afterwards. And I thought that was a big what-if that they missed out on last year.
Yeah, definitely. And it was in a season where your fourth quarter struggles were very real. And that was probably the highlight game that it was just on, or I should say low light, because there was nothing to highlight about it. I mean, that was a disastrous fourth quarter there. And yeah, I think it's easy to say that you should have gone for 2. And look, at that point, you probably should have. But at the same time, I also understand the standpoint of they trust the defense to go out there and get the job done. And look, we've always talked about plenty of times this offseason and heading to the preseason now of the defense always will give you a chance to win. But I think that was one of the situations where the defense is not perfect, and you gave Alabama a chance to hang around, and it's not Nick Saban's Alabama anymore. But still, it's a very talented team that made the college football playoff last year, and I think that was the defining moment probably of the season for Alabama. I mean, that was a game they probably should have lost.
Yep.
But still, that fourth quarter was very impressive on a lot of fronts. So it's easy to look back and be like, yeah, they should have gone for 2. But I also understand the standpoint of trusting your defense to go out there and get a stop. That just didn't happen, though, with how long that next drive was.
Well, when you say games you probably should have won, that was the story of the entire season last year because there are realistically 2, 3, 4 games that you probably could have won if a couple things go differently, including something like that in the late stage against Alabama. Hindsight's 20/20. Obviously, you can't go back and change those things now, but I hope those are situations that they learn from this time around and take advantage of those opportunities this year because, again, you're going to be playing a lot more tight games and your margin for error is incredibly thin in what is, as we've talked about, Jack, a very pitiful year on a lot of fronts.
Yeah, and look, I think they're hopefully will be a difference when it comes to those situations. I think there probably will be because, number one, you have different personnel. You have new players. You've got, and granted, you have some old ones returning too, but you have a new offensive coordinator with Kendall Briles, who it'll be interesting to see what his style is in those moments. We know he's a confident guy, and so I feel like there would be some correlation with maybe being a little confident or aggressive to go for it in those situations. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see because I think those moments will eventually come at some point this year. It feels like they always do. And if South Carolina has a chance to kind of put its foot down on the gas a little bit on someone's throat and take it out, give that team no chance to breathe, I think you do it this year, especially like early on in the season. Like if you're in that Alabama game again and you're up and you have a chance to potentially make it a 2-score game, yeah, you would hope South Carolina would go for it in that situation. But we'll see if that opportunity comes about this year. Hopefully you don't have to be in those situations. Hopefully you're winning games handedly. But if you're in a tight game, yeah, you got to find ways to be better in the fourth quarter. And sometimes you have to take gambles, and they don't always pay off. But I think you'd feel a lot better if they were taking those risks at times.
Well, it all gets started today. Camp rolls in about 25-ish minutes. Jack will be out there, and he'll call back in the 10 o'clock hour to give us updates. Jack, enjoy it, and here's hoping you see something good.
Yep, just arrived at the facility, so I'll see you guys in the 10 o'clock hour.
All right, Jack Felcher there on the AAA Heating Air phone lines. We'll get his update coming up in an hour of what's going on for camp day number 1. But coming up next, we bounce back through South Carolina's opponents. We'll talk to Eric Kane of VolQuest coming up next and see what's going on in Tennessee camp ahead of them playing South Carolina coming up in October. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you on your Friday here in the game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Tyler right here for our friends over at Twin Peaks. Congratulations, you've made it to the weekend, and you know there is tons of sports action going on all weekend long. We're not quite to full football weekends yet, but you got basketball, you got golf, you got some racing on the TV, you got WNBA action as well. And only one place taking all that great action. That's with our friends over at Twin Peaks, the ultimate man cave sports lodge, massive screens and perfect sight lines for whatever you are into and whatever you want to watch this upcoming weekend. Pair those sports with some delicious scratch-made food like burger stacked high and cooked to order, smoked in-house wings and brisket, and so much more. And don't forget about those 29-degree draft beers to wash it all down with as well. Get yourself down to our lodge here in Columbia at 600 Gervais Street and experience Twin Peaks at its best. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Are you calling your IT company over and over for the same issue, getting passed around to people who can't help? Or worse, getting hacked after being told you were protected? That's not normal. At IntelliSystems, real engineers answer the phone live, resolve issues quickly, and explain things in plain English. If something feels off with your current IT provider, it probably is. Call IntelliSystems today and see what better IT support should actually feel like. IntelliSystems.com.
At Herndon Chevrolet, there's no need to wait a week for service. Our full team of technicians is ready to get your vehicle checked the same day. From oil changes to major repairs, we're here to keep you moving with expert care you can count on every time. Fast appointments, trusted repairs, convenient service, and a friendly team ready to help you. Only at Herndon Chevrolet.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at CantyCanFixIt.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it.
Summer in Daniel Island just got hotter. Tim McGraw, the Pawn Shop Guitar Tour. Get lost in the songs you love to sing. Tim McGraw. Credit One Stadium, Saturday, August 8th.
I went skydiving.
Get ready for a summer show you don't want to miss. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com.
Where the Midlands get engaged isn't just a tagline, it's who we are at Traditions Fine Jewelers. Hey, Scott here letting you know that for years we've helped people from all walks of life find the perfect engagement ring, from radio and TV personalities to community leaders and couples just like you. When you're ready, we want to help you too. Come see, touch, and feel more than 1,000 bridal options, or let our experienced team help you create a one-of-a-kind custom ring designed around your style and budget. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit GarnetTrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business boom.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you here on your Friday on the Game. As we're excited that South Carolina gets day one of preseason camp rolling here in about 20-ish minutes ahead of what's going to be a tricky schedule for them this upcoming season. One of those tricky games is going to be Tennessee making its first trip back to Williams-Brice Stadium since the famous upset in 2022. The Volunteers already underway with preseason practice up there in Knoxville. And joining us to discuss the Volunteers ahead of their matchup with Carolina later on this year from VolQuest.com is our guy Eric Kane. Eric, appreciate you joining us as always. How are you, and how are things up in Rocky Top this week?
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's been good. It's always good when football is back in session, and Tennessee is already 2 practices in, so things are going well.
Of course, you guys are dealing with a quarterback competition, George McIntyre and Faison Brandon, the highly touted freshman, coming in. I know it's only a couple days in, but what's the latest on that battle as camp gets rolling?
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see kind of where they are, after the first scrimmage. The first scrimmage is a week from tomorrow, so they'll have a couple more practices. Yeah, they were just in helmets the first 2 days. I think the shoulder pads come on tomorrow morning, and then at some point next week they'll have full pads on. So, it's hard to say right now. Plus, whenever the media are out there, it's just a limited viewing period. But they both look clean. They both look crisp. I think for Faison Brandon, the true freshman 5-star that seemingly everybody's talking about, has kind of all the buzz, at least from a national perspective. I think he's worked on his mechanics over the summer. I think his footwork looks a whole lot better. Not that it was bad, but, again, he was a true freshman in spring ball that was an early enrollee, and he has put on 19.5 pounds of lean mass over the summer. He looks physically like a solid Southeastern Conference quarterback at like 6'3", 224 pounds or whatever. So he's looking good, both physically and, of course, on the field. And George McIntyre, he's put on a little bit of weight as well. Mechanically, he's really sound. You would assume that he probably has an edge in terms of the playbook and knowledge of the game and the system and all that, just because he's been here a year longer. But, we'll see which one of those guys goes out there and wins it. Certainly all the buzz is on the true freshman, but even in that regard, he's got to go out there and take it, and we'll see if he or George McIntyre will
over the course of the next month.
I got to imagine there's a sense of comfort because in Heupel's time in Tennessee, he's had a lot of quarterbacks come through that system. You know, Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, most recently, of course, Joey Aguilar, and all those guys have been pretty successful. That's obviously a very quarterback-friendly offense that he runs. So I imagine whoever he plugs in is probably going to have some degree of success this year because of what the offense means for a quarterback.
You would think so, and I mean, I understand, like, whenever, looking at season previews and predictions and all that for Southeastern Conference order of finish or college football playoff, whatever it is, and from a regional and national perspective, it's like, oh, well, I don't know about Tennessee. I can't know. They don't know who the quarterback is, and that's fair because, again, it's the most important position in all of sports, but as Josh Heupel said at SEC Media Days a couple weeks ago, his system offensively, his staff, dating back to UCF, they've had a first-year starting quarterback in 7 out of the last 9 years, and they've been top 10 nationally in offensive production in 7 out of the last 9 years. So I think Josh Heupel deserves the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. He's going to put whichever quarterback it is in position to go out there and succeed. Going to build, tweaks and wrinkles to the offense to kind of fit who the quarterback is. And, he did that with Joey Aguilar, like you mentioned. He did that with Nico Iamaleava, and he did that with Joe Milton. So we'll see what happens, but certainly Tennessee is, under Josh Heupel, has always had really good quarterback production.
Eric Kane of VolQuest.com joining us on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. As I mentioned a moment ago, first time that South Carolina will see Tennessee since 2023. First trip for Tennessee to Williams-Brice Stadium since the upset at the end of the 2022 season. Tricky spot on the schedule for this because it comes the week after the third Saturday in October where Tennessee sees Alabama in that rivalry game. What do you look at as for this Carolina game? Is it kind of a trap game before that week off you have after that?
I certainly don't view it as a trap game. I don't know how anybody else is. And, South Carolina obviously is hungry for a better season. Last year did not go well. Shane Beamer needs a good year. I'm not saying anything you guys don't already know or your listeners don't already know. So pretty motivated. And obviously I think South Carolina's got a ton of talent. I think Lenore Sellers with the new addition of Kendall Briles, if he can unlock him, I mean, the sky's the limit for that quarterback. And the potential has always been there. I think one of the better defensive lines in the SEC. Nick Harbor, wide receiver. You bring back some production both offensively and defensively. So, I mean, South Carolina is a team that I think could fly under the radar and have a pretty decent year. As far as that game with Tennessee, yeah, it's coming off the third Saturday in October. Tennessee lucks out. It's not a night game. It's going to be an afternoon game, which is huge. I'm not saying that's going to be much easier, but it's a tough place to play at night. So, Tennessee, an emotional game, a rivalry game the week before, a game that I think Tennessee will win. I think Tennessee can beat Alabama at home. Tennessee's won that game at Neyland Stadium the past 2 years, but certainly it's not going to get any easier that next week having to go on the road and knowing what happened the last time Tennessee was there as I want to say a 17.5-point favorite back in 2022. So should be a lot of motivated players all around for that game.
Where is the Tennessee fan base with that game still? Of course, they would make the playoff, 2 years later, but that seemed like obviously the best Tennessee team that Heupel ever had, and Carolina shocked the entire college football world with that upset. What do Vol fans still think of that game all these years later?
Oh my gosh, man! I mean, conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy, and who's to know, right? I mean, that's why college football is so amazing. I mean, at the end of the day, Tennessee did not play well enough defensively to win that game. I mean, offensively, you scored a ton of points, and I know Hendon Hooker got hurt there in the second half, and that was so unfortunate. But, I mean, Tennessee had scored, I think at the time of his injury, 31 points by that point in time. Tennessee just couldn't make a stop defensively. And, whether it's, the Connor Stallions angles in this one as well. And, because South Carolina got Tennessee, got Clemson as well, I believe, the next week to end that year. It was a really good end of the year for South Carolina. But, I mean, yeah, it's one that stings. It's one that hurts. And, yeah, Tennessee would have been in the playoff that year with the expansion. But Tennessee was on the brink of being in the 14 playoff that year. And who's to say if Hendon Hooker didn't get hurt, he wouldn't have been a Heisman finalist that year. Still should have been over Stetson Bennett. Don't get me started on that. The story for another day, but that's a game that still stings. That's a game that's still an eyesore for sure on the Tennessee schedule because, again, it was like, well, what the crap happened in that game? Tennessee was clearly a very, very good football team, and you just go out there and get punked. And obviously that's a game that Tennessee fans really, really, really want to get some pay. I know Tennessee's beaten South Carolina since then, obviously, but at South Carolina, I think that's a massive game on the schedule and one that every Tennessee fan wants this year.
A couple more minutes here with Eric Kane of VolQuest.com. I think the entire college football world was surprised last week when the story comes out about Arian Carter being suspended for the first 2 games of the year, stemming from, a flight that he took, but when he was in the pre-draft process earlier on this spring, a flight that he has since paid back, but nevertheless the NCAA still going to suspend him for the first 2 games against Furman and Georgia Tech. Josh Heupel very blunt about his thoughts on that the other day ahead of camp. Where does all that stand, and how bizarre is this story from a Tennessee standpoint?
Yeah, first and foremost, Josh Heupel, credit to him. That's so out of character of him to go out there and just be so blunt and just, really he doesn't comment on things like that. He never really has at Tennessee. He never wants to make a headline, just kind of wants to go with the flow because, he came in and walked into a mess, as everybody knows, with the Jeremy Pruitt fiasco and sanctions and all that. He's just never been a guy to comment on any of that, but this is one that he feels strongly about. This is one of his players that he brought to Tennessee. He is the team captain. He is the leader. When healthy, he is one of the best linebackers and defenders in all the conference. And it's complete, as Josh Heupel said, it's complete BS. It's a level 3 infraction. And was a rule broken? Sure. Was he declared for the NFL draft and fully engaged in going through the NFL draft process? Absolutely. Suffered an injury in January, had to have corrective surgery, was not able to go to a pro day, was not able to go to the NFL Combine, was not able to go work out for teams, advised to come back, and, rightfully so, goes through the process of the Tennessee Compliance Department, pays back the flight that was less than $500 in this era. We're paying millions and millions of dollars to everybody to play football. It separates from the agent and does everything the right way, and the NCAA is kind of like, we got you. And you got the wrong guy. Like, Arian Carter didn't do anything wrong. Like, he's a good guy. We're all-time good guys. So it's a complete, as Josh Heupel put it, BS situation. But, the NCAA, a lot of Tennessee fans think they want to get back at Tennessee for taking them to court and making them look stupid over Nico Iamaleava. And honestly, going back to 2021 when Heupel got here, Tennessee got the good end of the deal with all that. Sure, they had to pay $8 million fine for Jeremy Pruitt and all that, but there's been a lot of good football here since Josh Heupel's arrived. So, anyway, he'll be out the first 2 games, Furman and Georgia Tech. Tennessee's so experienced and so deep at linebacker, I think they're going to be fine. But it's a complete archaic rule, and I cannot believe the NCAA is digging their heels in on this. Of all things happening right now, they're gonna make a team captain and SEC leader essentially sit out 2 games. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, bizarre situation, no doubt. Eric, appreciate the time. Sure we'll be talking to you ahead of that matchup coming up in October.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, Eric Kane there of VolQuest.com joining us on the AAA Heat and Air phone lines. We'll get into what Beamer said yesterday up next here on The Game.
A moment of good feels from your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Rattler crossing route, got it. And that's Jalen Brooks at the 10, the 5. Jalen going for it. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Jalen Brooks.
Now that's some good feels right there.
Spencer Rattler has done what no other Carolina quarterback has ever done. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes on the night.
From 107.5 The Game and The Game Network.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Elijah Campbell here with 107.5 The Game to tell you that Back to School 2026 is here. New backpacks, new schedules, new routines. Now give your home a fresh start with Zerorez. Get 3 rooms of insanely clean carpets plus a free hallway for just $109. Plus, save $75 on professional air duct cleaning to help everyone breathe a little easier this school year. Book today at ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
The new Smokin' Honey Melts are here at Firehouse Subs. They were founded by firefighters, so when they make a new melt, they build it right. Melty, toasty, and packed with prime rib or grilled chicken breast. Then drizzle with the new Smokin' Honey Chipotle sauce. Sweet, smoky, built right. It takes a Firehouse Kitchen to make a melt this good. Try the new Smokin' Honey Melts today, only at Firehouse Subs, at participating U.S. restaurants.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. You've been singing the Lawyer Lisa jingle for 12 years now. Have you come to see us yet? Book a Gamecock VIP consult today using discount code 26football before the first kickoff by visiting lawyerlisa.com/thegame.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Visit callAAAtoday.com to schedule an appointment. Tell them Preston on the Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Level up your next night out at Overtime Bar and Grill, Columbia's premier casual sports bar, family pool hall, and neighborhood hangout. Just 2 miles from Williams-Brice Stadium at 1840 Bluff Road, Overtime is the local destination for Gamecock fans and families. Play on 9 professional pool tables or join their official APA and BCA League tournaments. Catch the games on 14 HD TVs or enjoy electronic darts and arcade games. Hungry? Try Overtime Bar and Grill's famous loaded cheese fries, custom burgers, and top-rated signature wings. There's even a kids menu. With a 96% Facebook recommendation rate, you are family here. Order online for easy delivery. Live life in Overtime. Overtime Bar and Grill. Take advantage of this great sweet deal from Overtime Bar and Grill. Beginning Friday morning at 9 a.m., log on to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals to get a $50 gift certificate to Overtime Bar and Grill for just $25.
Discover the Griffin difference. Turn these scorching summer days into unforgettable memories with a beautiful custom pool from Griffin Pools and Spas. Whether it's family fun, weekend cookouts, or relaxing after a long day, your dream backyard starts with us. Stop sweating through another summer and start making a splash in your own backyard. Call Griffin Pools and Spas today and let us build the backyard you've always imagined.
Griffin Pools and Spas. We make you feel good.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you here on your Friday on the Game. As camp gets rolling for South Carolina. Again, appreciate Eric Kane of AllQuest.com joining us there in that last segment, and we are but about 6 minutes away from Jack and everybody at GC and Big Spur and all the other sites going to go out there and observe day one of camp and all that. They should be stretching right now, actually. And again, in the next hour, Jack will call back in and give us an update on whatever the heck he sees. Hopefully something good, hopefully something newsworthy as we get camp rolling. But yesterday was the media day before camp gets started. Heard from Beamer, 3 o'clock. All the assistants, most of the players were made available yesterday as well. So a lot of stuff to dive into. We're not going to be able to get to it all today. That's going to carry over into next week as well. But wanted to start off with, as Jack kind of alluded to a moment ago, the latest when it comes to the injury update that Beamer provided yesterday.
No real updates injury-wise. Same situation with Peak and Dylan. They won't be practicing full tomorrow, but definitely on track, and they got good checkups or updates from doctors at their appointments last week. And then the only other guys that'll be out tomorrow, excuse me, Josiah Thompson, which you guys already know about, Josh Smith, who got injured during the spring, and then Jackson Rep. Unfortunately, wide receiver for us got injured over the summer, so he'll miss the season. Jackson will. Wish him well going forward. He'll still be out there, and he's attacking the rehab process hard, and look forward to seeing him get back healthy. But everybody else will be able to do something tomorrow on the field. Obviously, we got some guys that are limited with some normal bumps and bruises and strains, whatever it may be, but nothing long term.
Again, like you said, there's no real update as of right now with Carter and Dylan Stewart. And look, he's going to get asked about it every single press conference. And it's to the point now where he's bringing it up on his own before, Cloninger or anybody else asking the first couple of questions, even gets a chance to ask. So I don't know how much we're going to learn over the course of the next month in terms of that injury. Again, they'll get to observe today, like, okay, are Peak and Stewart, in shells and shorts? Are they just standing on the side? Like, what's the deal there? And that's kind of where I think the story of this is going to progress. And think about it, Carolina doesn't owe us a injury report until week number 3 against Mississippi State. So we're not even going to get status of these guys going in to those first couple of games. And as we've talked about plenty of times, if you need to hold those guys out for the first couple of weeks, for more precautionary reasons, go for it. You'd love to see those guys get out there and get some reps, knock the rust off before you start playing your conference games. But if you feel like, that's a situation where they could risk further injury by playing against Kent State and Towson, don't risk it. Let them sit, and we'll get them rolling with the games that really matter coming up in week number 3 and on through the rest of the regular season. So again, I'm not expecting any kind of significant update on those guys anytime soon, but that's what Beamer had to say about them yesterday. Something else, and again, Beamer's going to be asked about all the things changing in college sports that seem to be changing week in and week out. We've also recently learned about the new 5-and-5 rule, which now you technically don't have red shirts and stuff like that. You have freshmen, sophomores, junior, seniors, and now fifth-year seniors, super seniors, whatever we're going to call them, where you have 5 years to play 5 seasons of eligibility. So you don't have to worry about managing the roster in the ways that you had to in years past. And here's what Beamer had to say about that yesterday, about the 5-and-5 rule and how that affects playing some of the younger guys on this team.
For 5?
A little bit, John. I mean, I've always been kind of under the philosophy if they can help us and they're ready to play, let's play them. In that, even last year or the year before, that yes, they have a red shirt year available, but if they can help us win football games right now, I'm all for getting them out there. I think they become, happier because they're playing and not redshirting, and I think it's a win-win for everybody. So I've always been under that philosophy, play them, but now more so you can be even more open-minded with that, if that makes sense, because they do have, that 5th year. And again, we don't want to just say, okay, every freshman, we're going to find a role for you because you now got 5 years to play 5. Like, you got to be able to help us win SEC football games. Ultimately, that's the thing that we got to do. But knowing that you have that, you don't have to have discussions necessarily about a red shirt year and he's not quite ready, let's red shirt him. If a guy's ready to play, let's play him. And if he's not quite ready, then that's great. Let's continue to develop him and then have him ready to go when he is ready.
And as Beamer kind of alluded to there, he's not a guy that's been afraid to play young guys in his time here so far. Now, there have been instances, as we've talked about plenty of times, with guys like Nicky Milwari and Jalen Kilgore, where you kind of got thrust into action because of injuries and stuff like that. And then you realize, oh, hey, these guys are pretty good. We're just going to kind of leave them out there. So you hope, knock on wood, you don't have to run into those situations again. But I do think it's interesting, especially with how much young talent that we talk about on this team. We mentioned Noah Clark a little bit earlier on, Darius Gray, only been on campus for a short period of time, but turning a lot of heads so far as well. We'll see how he does in preseason camp. Julian Walker, Xavier Currents, all these young guys that we've talked about so much, mainly on defense there, with the exception of Darius Gray, that we expect to play roles in this team coming up this year. And in years past, you might look at one of those guys and say, okay, well, we think Noah Clark can contribute, but it's a deep, defensive line room. We don't want to burn his red shirt. You want to be able to preserve as much, eligibility as possible. And you might think, say, okay, well, we've already played him in 4 games so far. If we want to play him in a 5th game and burn that red shirt, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You have 5 years to play 5 seasons of eligibility. So if you feel like Noah Clark can play every single game. Well, guess what? Noah Clark can play every single game. And there's a lot of belief. I know Bill on the afternoon show with me always goes down this path or always brings this up of Jazavian Kearns maybe taking that opposite safety spot opposite of Peyton Williams at some point as the starter as the season goes along. Well, if that's the instance, you wouldn't be worrying about the red shirt anyway because, as Beamer alluded to, he's the guy that's going to help you out the most at that position, so you allow him to play. But I do think it's interesting that coaches don't have to think about those things anymore because the red shirt thing is pretty much done and gone. And what the effect of this is as well, I think it's a positive move. It's one of many things in college sports that people have been advocating for a while, so I'm in favor of the move. You also don't have to worry about guys self-shirting, right? And we've seen that around college football, and I think it was Bengali Kamara a couple years ago that ran into that situation. Same thing with, was it Xavier McLeod in 2023, where they had already played in a set in 3 or 4 games and were worried about burning the red shirt. So they came to Beamer and said, hey, I don't want to burn my eligibility because I'm going to go in the portal after the year or something along those lines. And Beamer said, well, then you're not going to be on this team, so good luck to you. Bye. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And that's something, again, across college football we've seen a lot in the past couple years where you get to that 4th or 5th week of the season and you're seeing stories left and right about this young guy, this freshman or whatever that's been playing for X school is going to try and preserve his own eligibility because, well, he probably figured out in those first couple weeks he's pretty good and he can probably seek some more money elsewhere by entering the transfer portal and trying to preserve as much eligibility as he possibly can. So those kind of things not going to be a factor anymore because you don't have to worry about red shirts. But I was interested to hear what Beamer would have to say about that in terms of his philosophy on how he views it and playing guys going forward. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1. Also get to what Beamer had to say about making the offseason harder, and Beamer validated something I've been pushing for in the past couple days on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. I'll tell you about that coming up next as well. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you. Jack Feltry will hop back in for some camp updates in hour number 2 on your Friday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100. That's 803-404-6100. And we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
It was a landmark week for NFL running backs as 3 stars reset the entire market. Detroit's Jahmyr Gibbs led the way with a record $67.5 million extension, followed closely by Atlanta's Bijan Robinson at $66.75 million. Meanwhile, Indianapolis re-signed Jonathan Taylor to a 2-year, $44 million contract. I'm Addie Bates.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, doot, and sometimes it's like
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid.
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, doot, and sometimes it's like
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years.
I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Babbel proudly presents The Poison Gift.
Derek, hi.
Hi, I got you something. Ein bisschen Gift.
Gift? Ist das Gift?
Ja, ist das Gift. Für dich.
If you buy her a gift, don't tell her it's poison. Use Babbel. Practice with Babbel's guided conversations based on real situations. Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
To make exercise a habit, find something you enjoy, like shopping. It counts as a workout when it's Kohl's Active Sale. Get 20% off across the store and 25% off top active brands for feeling your best. Plus, enjoy a sales tax holiday in South Carolina. Adding to your cart is pretty much cardio, right? Find out at Kohl's. Select styles. 25% offer ends August 15th. 20% offer ends August 16th. Exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Run that back, turbo.
As Coach Spurrier used to call it, talking season is finally over, and there's been a lot of talk since last January, and now we finally get to go do what we love to do, and that's practice football and start playing football in 4 weeks from Saturday, and fired up to get on the field with the guys tomorrow.
Would you look at that? I feel vindicated. If you've been following along in the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, myself, Wes, and Chris every single day, we've been having a debate this week, right? About when talking season comes to an end. Now, we've all stated that we believe that, hey, talking season can end whenever you feel like talking season ends. However, Wes seemed to have a problem with the fact that I said talking season ended once Media Day wrapped up, once we got into fall camp, preseason camp, whatever you want to call it, because then to me, we're in a preview season because things are happening, news is happening. To me, talking season is part of the summer where you're not getting new information, right? Once we're getting into camp, hey, guess what? New information's coming out. We're reacting to it. That's more of preview season to me. Wes put up a Twitter poll the other day. A lot of you voted on it, on when talking season ends, where most of you said game number 1 kickoff, won with 66.5% of the vote. My answer of when media days ends came in last at 4.6% of the vote. I don't know. I feel pretty vindicated knowing that Coach Beamer, quoting Steve Spurrier, is on my side with this one. And you best believe I'm going to bring this up in the 11 o'clock hour when Wes and Chris come in here as well. But just wanted to share that I feel vindicated that Coach Beamer is at least on my side for when media days, when talking season does come to an end. As talking season's been going on, this Carolina team's been trying to get better. And one thing that stood out when we heard from Sellers, Harbor, and Peyton Williams at Media Day was the fact that this offseason's been harder for them. Why has it been harder for them? What went into making the offseason harder, and how's that going to benefit this team? That's something that Coach Beamer spoke about yesterday as well.
Yeah, I think more just I wouldn't say it's anything different necessarily with the lifts or what we did for conditioning, more just how we, what's the word I'm looking for, measured the things that we did, try and do as many things football-like as we can from a mental toughness, physical toughness. Jordan tried to do a lot to really have leadership develop and put guys in positions where they have to communicate and they have to lead when, the bullets are flying, so to speak. And then probably just seeing how, let's empty the tank, in other words, where if you're a guy and we're doing some sort of conditioning, there's not necessarily a set ending point to this conditioning drill. It's more let's see how far you can go in this allotted time. It's not just about running, whatever it is, 200 yards. You got a minute. Let's see how many of those 100-yard sprints you can do. Just different things that you're always tweaking to try and get the best out of this group. And every summer is different in regards to what that team needs. But there's no doubt in my mind what we did this summer was what this team, the 2026 team, needed. And really pleased with the work that those guys put in.
And, I feel like when you come off of a disappointing year like last year was, it's only right to try and make things harder, right? Because you clearly weren't up to task a season ago, especially late in the year. And, Bill on the halftime show has shared his theory maybe, because this is something that's come up a few times. And again, going back to when we heard from the players at Media Day, they all, spoke about it to a degree themselves that maybe, and this is Bill's theory, I don't know if I necessarily agree 100% with it, but I think it's a fair point to bring up. With the players in particular, was there a sense of, well, we got this in last offseason, right? Or, hey, especially for the guys coming back, you went 9-3. You darn near almost made the college football playoff. You were the hottest team in the sport of college football for the final 6 weeks of the regular season. When you have that kind of performance, probably feel pretty good about yourself, right? Probably feel pretty confident in what you're doing to where, maybe, and this isn't every single guy, and I'm not going to say it's pointing fingers at every single person on the team, but there may have been some guys like, you know what, maybe I don't need that extra. Maybe I don't need to give it 110% today and, spring workouts back in, April or March of 2025, right? And again, it's just a theory. We're not going to confirm this one way or the other, but when you get inside the minds of 18 to 22-year-olds, those kind of things can happen, right? When you've already proven that you can do it, you say, all right, I can take a little bit of a breather. I can take a step back. I don't have to give 1,000% on this rep. And unfortunately, you can see the results when those kind of things don't, when you attack it with that kind of mindset, what happened last year in the fall can ultimately end up being the case. Again, not saying that's what happened, but it's a theory that Bill throws out there that I think, I can see where he's coming from with it, and something that could have been a factor to why this offseason needed to be so much harder for these guys to get them out of that mindset of like, hey, just because you've done it before and just because you've proven it before doesn't mean jack squat at this point in time, because you have to go out there and prove it every single year. Every other team in the country is getting better. Right? We talked to Eric Kane of VolQuest.com a little bit earlier. Didn't really get into the transfer stuff, but every other team is welcoming in transfers. Every other team is bringing in highly touted freshmen like Faison Brandon, among others around the SEC, and they're all getting better. So if you're in a situation where you're not giving it your all in your preseason workouts, if you're not giving it your all in camp or whatever it may be, there's other teams that are. And that can end up being a big difference, especially late in games where this team was clearly not conditioned to play 4 quarters of football on a week-in, week-out basis like they had done the week before. Heck yeah, you need to make it harder. Heck yeah, you need to get these guys back into shape and, put the fear in them that if they're not doing their job, they're not going to be able to go out there and win at a high level this upcoming season. So I was encouraged to hear that this offseason was harder. Good. I hope it translates to success on the field. We'll obviously start finding out starting in 29 days with South Carolina and Kent State. Plenty more Beamer stuff to get into. We'll also get into camp updates as well. And let's hear from some other coaches around college football that are speaking ahead of their camps this week, coming up in hour number 2 as the Extra Point rolls along. Tyler Head on your Friday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
All right, everyone, as we close out the first hour here, let me tell you guys about AAA Heating and Air, where home comfort is their top priority. Give a call today at 803-677-1500 to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of special extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. AAA Heating and Air also offers indoor air quality products that work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. So go to callAAAtoday.com for more info. Again, that is callAAAtoday.com for more info. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you on over.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at CantyCanFixIt.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Mosquitoes are the pests you feel.
Termites are the ones you don't until the damage is done.
At Modern Exterminating, we help protect your home from both with trusted mosquito reduction and termite monitoring solutions.
We're local, family owned, and since 1955, homeowners across South Carolina have counted on us to protect what matters most.
So whether you're worried about your yard, your home, or both,
contact Modern Exterminating today at pestfreesc.com.
That's Modern Exterminating, pestfreesc.com.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
29 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
And now, a no-frills ad sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. Oh, yeah? The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you. Jack Velcher will hop back on in about, 10, 15 minutes, and we'll get whatever camp updates he has for us for day number 1. Let's talk some NFL later on the hours. The Hall of Fame game happened last night. Boy, was it a barn burner. Great way to start off the football season with that game last night with the Panthers picking up the win over the Arizona Cardinals out there in Canton. But like South Carolina, just about everybody around college football getting their camps started, if not today, earlier on this week, as we talked about with Tennessee a little bit earlier on in the hour. So we're getting the opportunity to hear from all the coaches around college football on a variety of topics. And several coaches were asked their opinions on what's been going on with the rankings as the coaches poll came out earlier on this week. We discussed it the other day. Carolina technically 30th, tied with Arizona 5th in others receiving votes, if you want to get specific about it. 30th in the nation, according to the coaches. But some other rankings, maybe some head scratchers. Clemson being ranked 23rd. Don't know if I agree with that or if anybody would agree with that. Alabama ends up coming in at number 11. After ending the season the way they did, getting dominated in 2 of their last 3 games between Georgia and Indiana and having to come back from 17 down to winning against Oklahoma in the first round of the college football playoff. Kalen DeBoer, earlier this week, he was asked, hey, you see the thing about the rankings? You guys taking this as disrespect? And, here's what he said.
Caleb, this team isn't picked to finish as high as maybe what this program is used to. Do you think the guys pay attention to that? And then over the past day or so, have you felt a sense of motivation to prove people wrong?
Yeah, we are definitely aware.
A lot of people in the Alabama fandom through Twitter and stuff like that are taking this as, we're unlocking, that next level Kalen DeBoer. He's got a chip on his shoulder, being disrespected. Well, let's see what happens, and we'll see. Maybe this is what Kalen DeBoer needed, was to really be doubted, right? Because the expectation, as anybody taking over after Nick Saban would, is to keep the train rolling, continue to compete for national championships and all that kind of stuff. And, through 2 years, they haven't done that. Yeah, they made the playoff last year, but after getting rolled by Georgia in the SEC championship, I don't think anybody went into the playoff thinking, this is an Alabama team that could probably get the job done. And right now, when you look at the rankings, again, them coming out in 11th in the coaches poll, they're a fringe playoff team in the opinion of the coaches. We'll see what the AP poll says, but for the rankings that we have right now, seems like Alabama's taking that as disrespect. And it's interesting, right? Because different coaches have different ways of viewing the rankings. Some of them will say, hey, look at them. They're not believing in us. They don't think we're good enough to make the playoff or whatever it may be. Other coaches, quite frankly, just don't care. And that's where John Summerall comes in from Florida when he was asked about preseason rankings.
Polls and predictions. How do you digest that? Do you use that as
I don't
chip on your shoulder, or do you ignore it? How do you
I don't even look at them. I don't even know. Are they out? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Don't care. I'm not. Do you vote? I do. Yeah. Yeah, I vote. Yeah.
So apparently he votes in the coaches poll, but not aware of what they are, which tells me that he probably is not the one casting that vote. That's probably his SID. Maybe his daughter, kid, or I don't know what his family situation is like, but somebody other than John Summerall may have been the one filling out that coaches poll, which is funny because Florida is actually 27th, technically speaking, because they were the second team in the others receiving votes category, one behind Louisville. So despite not being ranked, the coaches actually think pretty highly of Florida considering what they were last year at the end of the Billy Napier era. But John Summerall, not somebody that thinks anything of that apparently. By the way, he's becoming a quote machine, right? Whether it be throwing a podium at somebody at media days, wanting to get the turf out of the locker room the other day, thing about the media poll. When John Summerall steps to the podium, he's going to be somebody to listen for, that's for sure. And we'll certainly pay even closer attention to that the week that they play South Carolina coming up early on in the season. So there's the opinion coaches have about polls, and there's no right or wrong way to do it, right? Again, some coaches will look at that as, it's a sign of disrespect. Other coaches will look at it as, I don't care. We got bigger fish to fry. We're not worried about the outside noise and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a each their own type of thing. Now, somebody like Beamer is one of those coaches that would look at as, hey, they didn't rank us or whatever, that's disrespectful. We're gonna go out there and prove them wrong and stuff like that. That's his approach. Other coaches may not feel the same way, and that's fine. Again, you're entitled to your own opinion. But again, a couple of examples of how coaches viewed that earlier on this week. Another quote machine, our guy Fran Brown out there at Syracuse. Well, last year didn't exactly go the way they wanted to. Steve Angeli got hurt earlier in the season. That didn't help the cause for the Orange after a strong first season at the helm for Fran Brown. Nobody's ever accused, by the way, Syracuse of being the richest school when it comes to NIL and resources and all that kind of stuff. And somebody asked Fran Brown the other day, like, hey, what do you think about your school's NIL resources? And, well, Fran's philosophy is, hey, the less you know, the better sometimes.
I went and asked my wife who she think is the cutest coach around. I'm not like that, so it's certain things that you're better off just not knowing. I'm just comfortable with who I am, comfortable with what we have. We're very thankful about that. I was taught not to count another man's pocket. We just worry about ourselves, We got to guess at who's the best reporter here. I don't want to really do that, right?
I get it, man. And look, at a school like Syracuse, again, basketball is a sport that probably commands the most attention for a lot of people in that famous. They do have a history when it comes to football, Ernie Davis and guys like that, of years past, and some great success there. And again, they did some good stuff a couple years ago when Fran Brown first took over. But in terms of the resources in NIL, which is the name of the game and being competitive in today's world of college football, yeah, they probably don't stack up to a lot of other programs out there. And if Fran Brown really wanted to know and said, hey, so-and-so, the head of our collective or whatever, show me our numbers and then show me Miami's numbers, well, that probably wouldn't be a pleasant thing to see for Fran Brown. So he's very much like, I'm a head-down type of guy. I'm going to control what I can control. The money is what it is, and we're going to go out there and do the best we can. And in his words, he wouldn't ask his wife who the cutest coach is because he knows he's probably not going to be the answer to that question. Because, again, sometimes you shouldn't ask questions that you don't want the answer to. And that seems to be the case with Fran Brown when it comes to the NIL budget up there at Syracuse. Mike Locksley, as we bounce around to other places in college football, Mike Locksley is had a rough go of it in his time at Maryland so far. In Maryland, a school that, despite the fact that they don't play South Carolina, a kind of an indirect rivalry when it comes to stuff on the recruiting trail. And, what Locksley said about Beamer and his staff, I guess it was earlier on this spring with paying guys to come on visits and all that kind of stuff that I don't believe we ever saw any repercussions of. But Locksley's coming off 2 straight 4-8 seasons at Maryland after going 8-5 in the couple years before that. So things kind of trending in the wrong direction when it comes to the Maryland Terrapins. However, if you're a Terrapins fan, I guess Mike Locksley saying, well, I'm a better 4-8 coach this time around than last year or than the year before, maybe makes you feel better. I don't know. Here's the quote.
We've had 2 different 4-8 seasons, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's 4-8, and I'm not diminishing that I am a 4-8 coach the last 2 years. But the 4-8 last year was a lot different than the 4-8 a year before, and because of that, it was the leadership I saw out of this group. There was not one game last year that I didn't feel we were competing, where we quit, where we weren't laying it all on the line, and it was because of the connection that I think that group has, and that connection is what enabled us to keep 71% of the production, and maybe in ways that a year before we couldn't.
So I get the point of what Locksley is trying to say there, that, hey, I know we went 4-8 in back-to-back years, but, last year's 4-8 was better, right? And they had the stat the other day about, hey, they had a lead in a certain amount of games before losing, obviously, 4-8 like South Carolina did a season ago. I don't know if I would have positioned it as I'm a better 4-8 coach last year than the year before. And again, when you're a place like Maryland where football isn't as big of a deal as it is at a place like South Carolina and stuff like that, you can probably get away with those kind of things. But I probably would have chosen better choice of words, I guess, if I was Mike Locksley. Because funny enough, Terry and I were talking about this because Terry's from the up there from Maryland, so he's closer connected to that Maryland program than any of us. When I scrolled through Twitter and saw this quote that Locksley had, I thought it was fake. I thought somebody made it up just to make fun of Mike Locksley. I was like, oh no, it's real. And I was like, all right, I got to pull this, I got to play it, because hearing a coach say I'm a better 4-8 coach is a little jarring. But again, I get where he was coming from and the point that he was trying to make. I just think he could have chose maybe a better way to explain it there. Well, as again, we bounced around college football a little bit with some of the quotes this week, we can finally get into talk about what has happened at South Carolina's camp earlier on this morning as Jack Veltri jumps back in on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, fresh off of the camp viewing period. Jack, what can you report from being on scene this morning?
Well, number one, the obvious one, was Dylan Stewart out there. What about Jakarius Peak? I did not see Peak. I did see Stewart. He was in his – so the way they're doing the practice jerseys this year are the quarterbacks will wear garnet, the offense will wear white, and the defense will wear black. Dylan was out there in a black jersey. However, he was not going through practice from what we saw. Guys had helmets on and just their jerseys, no pads or anything really, but Dylan was just in his jersey and kind of off to the side. So that's the update on that. I did not see Peak out there, so I asked around a few other guys, did not see they did not see Peak either, so not sure on that. That's the main thing, of course. We were probably out watching legit practice for probably like 8 to 10 minutes because the first period was stretching. We saw some guys go through individual work. Quarterbacks were throwing with each other. Wide receivers were doing a little bit of practicing some route running on like shorter little routes. The special teams work was going on where you had the field goal unit lining up with different kickers. Saw Max Kelly and those other guys kicking out there from pretty, chip shot, extra point type of range. The offensive line was getting a little bit of work, and kind of like what we saw in the spring, Tyler. The drills where the offensive linemen are staying a little bit more level and going underneath the bars. I don't know the proper term for the life of me, what that thing is called that they go under. But I know it's to stay level and keep a good pad level. So yeah, I mean we didn't see anything groundbreaking, but that kind of just sums it up right there of what we saw.
Apparently the most controversial drill in all of college football, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess so.
All right, we'll get more into camp stuff. Also, get into what was said yesterday at the media day availability as we recap what happened this morning out at South Carolina camp as we continue on with the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry here in your Friday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. It's 2026 SEC Media Days.
And the Game was there all week.
It's just a matter of starting over. I built these relationships, got to know these guys, these coaches and all that. There's no need for me to go somewhere else that's not home for me.
On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
It looks amazing. It looks like a Teflon coating on there.
We're very excited that we don't ever have to paint again.
If you live in the Carolinas, don't spend your next summer painting. Go Rhino and you'll never have to paint again.
We chose it because of the fact that we saw a house that had done it, and I just went, that's something I'd like to have done to my house.
Rhino Shield specifically formulated for our unique climate right here in the Carolinas.
I would highly recommend Rhino Shield. You can't beat the 25-year transferable warranty, by the way.
Let me put it this way. I haven't had any complaints. And as the president of the association, that's the best part.
Right now, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
For anybody that's skeptical about putting Rhino Shield on your house, take a real close look at it. The warranty, 25 years, is something that I just don't think you can beat.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Stressed about visualizing your home remodel? You're not alone. Planning a new space shouldn't feel like a guessing game. At CHW Cabinetry, we've taken custom design to a whole new level. Our ultra photorealistic renderings leave nothing to the imagination, giving you total peace of mind before construction even starts. Plus, we equip your contractors with a complete job site book packed with detailed drawings and exact specifications, ensuring a smooth, hassle-free installation. Take the guesswork out of your dream home. Visit chwcabinetry.com today and see your vision come to life.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have
have a leak? Let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000.
Are you calling your IT company over and over for the same issue, getting passed around to people who can't help? Or worse, getting hacked after being told you were protected? That's not normal. At IntelliSystems, real engineers answer the phone live, resolve issues quickly, and explain things in plain English. If something feels off with your current IT provider, it probably is. Call IntelliSystems today and see what better IT support should actually feel like. IntelliSystems.com.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Feltry, along with you here on your Friday on the Game. Jack Feltry on the AAA Heating and Air phone lines as he just finished up over at day one of preseason camp for South Carolina, as he just kind of shared the highlights there of what he was able to observe so far this morning. Jack, I think the most pressing question is seeing the Garnet jerseys on players for the first time in the Nike era. Did the Garnet look correct?
I will have to go back and double check. I have video somewhere on my phone. It looked fine to me. Again, I know that's a big controversy of it's too light or whatever. It's not the proper shade of garnet. How can Nike screw this up? I get that. I think to me, it's definitely, again, I need to look back and check, but I think I remember seeing it. It looked a little bit lighter than your normal dark shade of garnet, but not like anything to where I see people saying it looks like crimson. I disagree with that, but I think the jerseys look slick. It's a practice jersey. It's not anything too crazy. It's just got the numbers on it, the block numbers with the Nike logo, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
Well, just had to get the update. That is the most important question to ask going into this year, is how the garnet looks, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Reading through the insiders forum here, apparently there was a fire alarm going off that had to be addressed too.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but the fire alarm, so we were waiting outside the gates to go into practice for probably 15, 20 minutes, and the fire alarm starts going off on the other side of the gate, and no idea what it was about, but eventually 3 fire trucks showed up. And, I don't know what the severity of it. Hopefully everyone's okay. But, yeah, that was a great way to kick off the start of preseason camp.
That just means we're off to a hot start, Jack. That's all.
Yeah, means the team's on fire already. So.
Oh, man, we can only hope. So, yeah, there's a couple of observations from camp so far this morning. You mentioned being able to see some special team stuff. And typically when you guys get out there and are able to view a lot of special teams work, is typically what's happening, but this year in particular, a lot of questions going into the season on what's going to be happening with special teams. And yesterday, Matthew Smiley, the new special teams coordinator, was asked about those position competitions on his side of the ball.
That's what you're shooting for. So when it comes to competition, we have to encourage that as coaches on the practice field and in our rooms, because we can't ask for it against our opponent on Saturday afternoon if we're not building that culture within our building. So that's one of the things, and I've learned over the course of my years, and sometimes I've learned it the hard way, there's never a position you want to be comfortable. Hey, this is your job. You're fine. You always want the idea that I'm competing against somebody in my room. I'm competing with myself. So then it doesn't surprise me when I compete on Saturday afternoon. So I think even where there's not maybe an obvious competition, I'm always trying to figure out how to make that feel like a competition.
And, of course, we've talked ad nauseum about the kicking battle between Upton Belafant, Max Kelly, and Malik Orson, who came in from the offseason in the transfer portal. Also dealing with a long snapper competition. I believe they also seem to be trying to figure out who's going to be holding as well. Chris noted that Mason Love and Cutter Woods were doing some holding. So Matthew Smiley's got a lot of work cut out for him in the next month of trying to nail down some of those key spots on special teams.
Yeah, and I think it'll resolve itself over the next few weeks here because, a lot of it is, just simply put, a lot of it is going to come down to who is kicking the most accurately, who's got the best snaps. A lot of it does come down to, who is literally doing the best job out there, right? I think there's also part of it of how do you handle the pressure because I think South Carolina, from what we hear and what's been said, they try to make sure that they simulate what it's going to be like kicking and going through special teams in a game as much as possible. Of course, that's not going to be easy to do because you're doing it at practice, but having those game-like situations where you got to rush out into the field and get a hold, snap, and kick down perfectly, yeah, I think that's going to really help figure out who separates themselves in those competitions.
Well, and that's where, as we've mentioned plenty of times before, taking this competition into the season wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Again, when it comes to kicking, it's very black and white because you're either making your kicks or you're not. So if Upton Belafant, goes out there and makes 19 out of 20 kicks and nobody else does better than 15 out of 20 kicks, well, guess what? Upton Belafant's probably going to be your kicker. But if it's still neck and neck going into the season, and Beamer or in one of the insider reports the other day, they mentioned that there's not enough confidence and consistency out of this kicking group as of right now. You can take it in the first couple games. We've seen that in years past, and somebody can go out there and handle that pressure and live game scenarios better than somebody else, and that gives you an option of who your guy is going to be. So it could be dealing with that. Again, you got basically 8 quarters of what we feel like are lighter opponents in the first 2 weeks, kind of figure that stuff out. But ideally, like anything else, you want to have that nailed down by week number 3 against Mississippi State, in addition to long snapper and in addition to who's going to be holding as well.
Yeah, when you head into the season, they'll probably have a starter named. I think over this next month, with the 2 scrimmages that are coming up and over the next 2 weeks, you're going to learn a lot about how these guys operate and I think you'll see some separation at some point. But we've seen over the years, Tyler, the last 2 seasons with the kicking competition, that has gone down to the wire to where I believe Beamer, even maybe when Alex Herrera won the job, it wasn't known until game week who was going to be starting a kicker. So you don't like to have to be in that situation. You would hope that those guys are all doing really well. And it's a good competition that way. That's the kind of problem you want to have. But we've seen it over the years where guys haven't been able to separate themselves, and no one has really stood out above the rest. Hopefully it's a different story this year because, look, it may not seem like it, but field goal kicking is a big deal. And to have someone that you can consistently rely on, go back to 2 years ago, say what you want, but I think if South Carolina had a halfway decent, solid option at kicker, they're going to the college football playoffs. So it's not important until it does become important, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I almost wonder, it would take a while to kind of dig through this, but at least out of the Power 4, I don't know how many other schools are breaking in their 3rd different kicker in 3 years, right? Herrera in 24, or 4th different kicker in 4 years, I guess, because you had Mitch Jeter back in 23, though he had started, the prior season before. Jeter in 23, Herrera in 24, Joyce last year, and one of these guys to be your kicker this upcoming season. I don't know how many other schools have had to deal with that the past 4 years, but once again, for 3 straight seasons now, that's been a storyline going into the year, is who's your kicker and how good can they be, which hopefully you can have somebody that goes out there and, performs more akin to what Jeter did a few years ago than what you've had in the past couple.
And look at it this way. Is it better to have to be breaking in a kicker than having to have a quarterback competition every single year? I think you would take having to deal with this being your main competition every year that you have to continue to go through, compared to, oh man, we have a question at quarterback or a question at a huge position of need every single year. Like, no, you have your quarterback situation figured out. Yeah, obviously you have to figure out some other spots. It's not ideal, I guess, that you have to break in a new kicker every preseason right now. But honestly, I mean, look, it is what it is, and hopefully when they begin the season here, yeah, you hope this competition doesn't need to go into the season. But you're right about, like, the first 8 quarters of the year against Kent State and Towson. Yeah, you should have some opportunities to see and try things out. Like, you should be able to try and get the kinks out and figure out who's separating themselves for sure after those 2 games. Because by the time SEC play gets going, Tyler, you want to have, I think, everything from a personnel standpoint figured out and know who your starters are.
Beamer Tuesday. We'll hear from him on Tuesday again, right? Is that the plan for camp?
Yeah, yep.
You should definitely ask him on Tuesday what the depth chart at kicker looks like. I'm sure he'd really appreciate that question.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'd appreciate that question. But I am interested in go ahead.
No, I was going to say, how many times did he emphasize yesterday we don't have a depth chart?
I'm not sure, man.
It was several.
But I will say, I am interested, though, to hear throughout camp, though, because we have heard Beamer be pretty blunt about when you ask him about certain positions, especially at kicker. I mean, he's been pretty blunt over the years about, like, that nobody was separating themselves 2 years ago and that it was really, like, dragging out into the start of the season. Like, I am interested to hear if there's any difference with how he talks about those guys. Hopefully from the standpoint of, yeah, guys are doing well and separating themselves, and they feel pretty good about that spot heading into the year.
Well, kicker is one of many battles going on for this team in fall camp. We'll stay updated on that through the next 4 weeks leading up to the start of the season. But football got going properly last night to a degree with the Hall of Fame game, and my goodness, did it end up being better than anybody expected it to be. We'll discuss that on the other side. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Friday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go: Twin Peaks. From juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head to Twin Peaks, where the views are great, the food hits hard, and the beer is always colder than your ex's heart. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Elijah Campbell here with 107.5 The Game to tell you that Back to School 2026 is here. New backpacks, new schedules, new routines. Now give your home a fresh start with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of insanely clean carpets plus a free hallway for just $109. Plus, save $75 on professional air duct cleaning to help everyone breathe a little easier this school year. Book today at ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. You know, every homeowner's dream is a house that cleans itself, right? Well, we might not be able to do that, but what if you could clean your air without lifting a finger, even when you're sleeping? AAA Heating and Air offers indoor air quality products that do just that. These products work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. And remember, at AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Let AAA Heating and Air take your comfort to the next level. Call 803-677-1500 and schedule today.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast.
I'm your host, Megan Klingenberg, and after interviewing so many dudes during this Men's World Cup, I'm so happy to be back with my U.S. Women's National Team players.
I know the U.S. Men's National Team has changed how I think about myself, how I think about being an American, how I think about being on a team.
It's 1 year out from that World Cup, and we're going to talk about the brightest prospects in U.S. soccer. You ready? I'm ready. Let's do it.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast, presented by Henco. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
I answered the call, and even though I no longer wear the uniform, I am still a Marine, still serving those around me, my country, and my community. That is Semper Fidelis. Always faithful, always Marine.
Oh, yeah?
The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Soft box. Quarterback ball. Have a chance.
Game on the line. King, he's going to step up. Pumps, runs, goal line. Is he in? Yes! Carolina wins! Haynes King! King of the night!
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Felcher with you on your Friday here on the game. Let's go last night on NBC, the NFL Hall of Fame game, as Haynes King runs it in as time expires to give the Panthers the 33-30 win to start the football season off in a darn near thrilling game last night, Jack. Most of the time, the Hall of Fame game is one that you kind of drift off after a quarter or so, but my goodness, Haynes King and Carson Beck were throwing haymakers all night right down to the very end, and Haynes King, just like he did at Georgia Tech, throwing caution to the wind every time he carried the football last night and helping the Panthers get the win.
Man, I wish I stayed up for that game last night. I turned it on a little bit after the first quarter, and just an update, was watching on my iPad. Caroline had Big Brother on the main TV. So
okay.
Totally understandable there. But I had it on my iPad. I was watching pretty much the entire first half, and man, what a thrilling! I mean, just back and forth, throwing blows at each other. Carson Beck driving down the field. How about former Gamecock Jalen Brooks with a few nice catches there? Like, I was very impressed with Carson Beck yesterday. I think he threw some real good passes, put the ball in good spots. And I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, it's preseason. You're going up against backups." So on. Now, well, guess what? I mean, Carson Beck's probably your third-string quarterback right now. So, yeah, going out there and doing what he did, you feel pretty good about him as a third-string option right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I saw the highlight this morning of the touchdown to win it. What a thrilling play there. That is the most Haynes King play I think you can have. So, yeah, what a what a fun game last night to kick off the NFL season.
Well, as if Haynes King didn't already have a big enough chip on his shoulder when he was playing in college football, he's trying to, quite frankly, make the roster of the Panthers. And I think last night's performance probably went a long way in keeping him around a little bit longer. What his future as an NFL quarterback is, I don't know. But he's definitely somebody that is not shy about giving 110%, and credit him for that.
Yeah, I think stuff like that can go a long way, right? Yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who is the best option at each position. I think at quarterback, it's a little different because you need guys that are valuable as backups, potentially ready to go in any given moment. But the fact that you get a performance like that out of Haynes King where he went out there and put it all on the line in a preseason game, yeah, I think that should definitely be something that helps him in his case to make the roster eventually.
Well, I don't know how many more matchups we're going to get between Haynes King and Carson Beck. Because, again, they played once in college back in the end of the 2024 season where Georgia and Georgia Tech played that wild 8 overtime game. They matched up again last night and ended up delivering maybe the best Hall of Fame game we've ever seen. If those two guys ever end up starting against each other in the NFL again, go ahead and lock in because it's probably going to be a pretty fun 4 quarters.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see if it ever gets to that point. For the Cardinals, maybe, but if the Panthers have to resort to Haynes King, that tells me things aren't going well at the quarterback position, or they're just really banged up. But again, real good game last night. I was super impressed with Beck, just the way he was able to operate the offense, especially in the red zone. It's one thing to move down the field, Tyler, but as you know, it's another thing to execute well in the red zone. And from what I saw last night, his few drives in that first half, really good. So, nothing to complain about on that end. A very good debut for Carson Beck.
You mentioned Jalen Brooks, leading receiver for the Cardinals last night, including pulling in a 49-yard pass. Martin Scott also making some tackles for the Panthers there on defense. I believe that was all the Carolina flavor for the game last night, unless I'm missing somebody.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. I know the Panthers have a ton of guys from South Carolina, but a lot of them are more experienced, older, whereas you got Bam, who's a guy that's probably trying to make the 53 heading into his second season here. So, yeah, I think that was probably it last night in terms of South Carolina flavor, like you said, Tyler.
Of course, preseason gets rolling proper coming up next week as all the teams will be in action. Every camp's underway. As of right now, we've hit some of the storylines of that as the week has gone along. And one of the biggest stories this week in the NFL is, quite frankly, running backs getting paid. We talked about Bijan Robinson earlier on this week, who at the moment was the highest paid running back in NFL history. Jonathan Taylor got an extension with the Colts. And then yesterday, to the surprise of no one, Jahmyr Gibbs now becomes the highest paid running back in all of the NFL and NFL history as he gets his extension with the Detroit Lions. Kind of a running back resurgence here as of late in the NFL.
Yeah, I did not see that because I was out this morning. What's the contract there?
For Gibbs?
Yes, for Gibbs.
So 3 years, $67.5 million, 51.5 guaranteed. Could be worth up to $75.75 million, and he'll make an annual average of $22.25 million.
So how much more is he guaranteed?
Excuse me. He will be making an average of, or he'll be making over. Yeah, he and Robinson will both be making $22.5 million.
Yeah, I was about to say the guaranteed money for Bijan, I think, is pretty similar to that. So look, we talked about it the other day, Tyler. I mean, it felt like it was going to happen at some point. He deserves it. He's been really solid in the NFL. And, yeah, with 27 being his last year on that rookie deal, it's like, yeah, you got to get this done at some point. And, yeah, the Lions secure their running back of the future on a really good deal there, I think.
Well, and it's interesting because it was 2 to 3 seasons ago, right before the year started, there was kind of this, I don't know if you remember this, a bit of a running back summit where a lot of the top running backs in the NFL were kind of getting together and meeting about how they can get the money they feel like they deserve, because it felt like the league was kind of looking at running backs in more of a dime a dozen type situation, even for some of the top-end guys. And now you have 4 running backs making over $20 million with the extensions of Gibbs, Robinson, Taylor, in addition to Saquon Barkley, who is already making $20.6 annually with the Philadelphia Eagles. So we've kind of seen a rebirth of the running back spot in terms of how highly they're viewed as far as salaries go now.
And it feels like these guys are getting paid much earlier now in their careers. Like I mentioned it, like Gibbs, Robinson, like those guys were drafted in 23. They were on their rookie deals still, and they're getting paid. And I think there is still some merit to the idea that running backs are expendable, and you can go out there and get an undrafted free agent guy who ends up being really good, or a late round pick, and they end up turning into something. We've seen, like, Rico Dowdle's a perfect example of a former South Carolina Gamecock that was picked in the late rounds years ago, and he's turned out to be a pretty nice option at running back over the years with a handful of teams. So, yeah, I think the stars, though, are a little different. When you have a guy that you just know year after year you're getting good production out of, and they're young, like, I feel like once you turn 30 at running back, Derrick Henry might be a rare example, but, like, running backs tend to go on a little bit of a decline. So to get these guys signed for multiple years to come, keep them around at the current age they're at in their mid-20s, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, and you look at somebody like a Gibbs, who, again, 3-year deal, worth about $20+ million annually, but there's no telling what shape he's going to be in 3 years. Right now, he's going to carry a lot more of the load because David Montgomery is with the Texans now. So in 3 years, you could say, hey, that was a great job by the Lions of signing that extension because Gibbs played at a high level for all 3 of those years. By the end of year number 3, you could say, all right, well, he's fallen off a little bit. We got the best out of him while we could, but now he's damaged goods at this point. You just don't know because, again, that's such a position that takes such a beating game in and game out, and the shelf life for running back in the NFL is very short, but it is interesting to see these guys kind of get a rebirth in terms of being paid what they felt like they're owed.
And 3-year deals, I think that's a good win for these teams here, right? Because it's not like you're locked into some massive – if it were like a 5-year deal, I think you'd be a little bit more concerned. The fact that it's 3 years, and you probably have an option somewhere in those deals. Again, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm imagining there's probably like a player or a team probably a team option at some point down the road in those deals. And yeah, if things are going well by the 2nd or 3rd year and you pick up the options, you feel pretty good about it. But if things don't go well, good news is it's only a 3-year deal. Sure, it's a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to be tied up for multiple years to come. You could honestly probably always trade it off, worst case.
Yeah, no doubt. But again, a lot of running backs getting their extensions this week and getting paid a lot of money in the process. We'll come back, we'll wrap up hour number 2. In our future headlines, as we look ahead to the weekend as the Extra Point rolls along. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you here on your Friday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Washington Commanders absolutely had to sign free agent wide receiver Stephon Diggs, and it's a great signing by the team. You can't go into the season a make-or-break year for head coach Dan Quinn with Antonio Williams and Treylon Burks, De'Ambi Brown, Luke McCaffrey, and Jalen Lane as the receivers behind Terry McLaurin. Stephon Diggs gives the Commanders offense a chance to have a good passing game this season. I'm Nick Costos.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When you're planning your next job, options matter. Now in stock at Lowe's. Get the roofing brands you trust, including GAF, Owens Corning, and CertainTeed, with more colors to choose from. Shingles and accessories are in stock and ready to go. And when you're on the clock, we help keep you on schedule. Order by 4 p.m. and get next day job site delivery on select items as early as 6:30 a.m. At Lowe's, we have your back on the job. Delivery Monday through Saturday in select zip codes, subject to availability.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at cantycanfixit.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it. Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's Renter's Insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home when you're in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. I saw, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Sweet, $50. Who are you, and why do you have that guitar?
Now you want that $50. There's something you should know. The people in your life, the things they require will grow and grow and grow. There's your friend that wants you to buy him chips. Your cousin Nate wants extra drip. Your aunt who'd love a titanium hip. Your dad with a house.
The South Carolina Education Lottery, where the fun goes on and on and on.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Felcher wrapping up hour number 2 on your Friday here on The Game. We'll get back into the camp conversation and everything with Wes and Chris in the 11 o'clock hours. They were also out there observing things earlier on this morning. Jack, when you hopped back in on the phone line earlier on this hour, I was in the middle of kind of bouncing around college football with a couple of different quotes from coaches and stuff this week. And before we get into our future headlines, there's one more quote I didn't have a chance to get to that I have to play. I don't know if you saw this making its rounds on college football Twitter yesterday or not, but Purdue has a new AD. His name is Tommy McClelland, and he was introduced yesterday at a press conference. And, well, he decided to take a little bit of a shot at their in-state rival, the Indiana Hoosiers.
Every recruit, every current student athlete will hear this message repeatedly. We are here to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana.
Of course, the Indiana Hoosiers, fresh off winning their first college football national championship last year, took a lot of flack for this one yesterday on Twitter, Jack. I don't know if you'd heard that before. I just played it there, but your thoughts on Tommy McClelland's intro at Purdue?
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, if we're talking about, if this were 3 years ago, then yeah, okay. I could understand the subtle jab at Indiana, but it just didn't land at all because Indiana's one of the best teams in college football now. So that to me was a little bit like of a head scratcher. Like, did he come up with that himself? Did he have somebody write that for him in his speech? Because that was pretty silly, and I don't know. I mean, that's going to be something that's pretty memeable moving forward. It's not even like bulletin board material for Indiana. It's just if I'm Kurt Cignetti, I'm just laughing at that.
You know, I saw a lot of people give this guy hate yesterday. What an idiot. You know, is he not realizing Indiana just won the championship? But I thought about it differently because you know what? That's a rivalry. And we may not think much of the Indiana-Purdue rivalry, but in the state of Indiana, it's a very, very big deal. And when you hate a rival, you don't acknowledge their success, right? Look, I wasn't here when in this state when Clemson was winning national championships, but I imagine it was pretty tough for Gamecock fans to acknowledge what the team in the upstate was doing. So you know what? I don't have a problem with it. Poke fun at your rival. Ignore their success. That's all a part of hating in college sports, and I'm here for it. So you know what? Tommy McClelland, you're okay in my book. Yeah, you're going to get dogged for this, but hating your rival should never take a day off no matter how successful they are.
Yeah, but he could have come up with a much better line right there.
He probably could have. But you know what?
I don't have a problem with taking a jab, but it's like you're taking a jab with the wrong approach here because they just won a national championship. Like, come on.
Well, when Purdue gets to the mountaintop and wins their national championship, then maybe he can laugh at everybody, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Not counting on it anytime soon. As we go into the weekend, a lot of things happening across the sporting world. Last weekend that we have, without it being full of football, we'll get NFL preseason rolling properly coming up next weekend. So we'll have plenty of those games to talk about as we start to kind of figure out what these rosters are going to look like. I do think it's interesting that our two baseball teams going to be squaring off against each other this weekend in a 3-game series. Where are you going with your future headline?
Mike Yuva is going to love me for this. I'm going to be straight up, man. I'm a realist when it comes to my team. Yankees are struggling right now. Yes, they just won a series against the Cubs over the weekend, but they have not been looking pretty lately, right? They just lost the series to the Cardinals earlier this week. Their offense cannot score runs. Their pitching's been good, but their offense cannot score runs. I'd love to see the Yankees go out here and win a series this weekend against the Braves. Old Timers Day is tomorrow. One of my favorite days of the year is for the Yankees. But I'm going to be honest, man. When I see the Red Sox are a half game back of the Yankees and the Red Sox are playing the lowly Athletics this weekend, I think the Red Sox leapfrog the Yankees in the standings after this weekend. So, yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. I love my Yanks. But, man, I'm honest and truthful, and I have the Red Sox leapfrogging the Yankees this weekend in the standings, and that's going to be a hard conversation to have on Monday.
Well, if Yuva is listening, by the way, shout out happy birthday to him earlier on this week. If he's listening, I'm sure he'll be texting us coming up here in a matter of moments because that team is absolutely red hot. They had a comeback win last night in extra innings over the Red Sox to extend their winning streak to 8.
Yeah, over the White Sox.
Yeah, White Sox, sorry. Yeah, the other Sox.
Good. I texted him this morning because, he's chirped me already. They just don't lose. I don't understand it. It's been like this for the past month. It feels like the Rays also don't lose. So the Yankees are just in a spot where anytime they lose, it comes back to bite them. And I was not really that impressed with the trade deadline the Yankees had. I like calling up George Lombard Jr. That was good. Hopefully that'll light a spark. But man, this offense, until they get guys healthy, it's going to be like this moving forward. So I worry about this offense, and yeah, it's unfortunate. But where are you going with your headline?
I think I'll stick with baseball as well. Again, I'm really looking forward to having some football stuff to mix into this coming up next weekend. Did you see, by the way, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s second home run last night and how he got it against the Marlins?
I did see that. Do you want to explain it for the audience?
Yeah, so the ball's tracking short of the wall. It's gonna die at the warning track, but the left fielder and center fielder collide with each other as the ball was going into, I think, the center fielder's hands, and it bounces over the wall. If that's not the most Marlins thing you've ever heard, then you have to see it for yourself. But like Acuna stopped at first base and was like, oh, it went over and then finished running the bases. But that was the second home run of the night. Of course, he just recently returned from injury, but I feel like he's starting to heat up at the plate a little bit. I'm going to go multi-home run weekend for Ronald Acuna as hopefully the Braves can keep their winning streak of 8 games going as well.
Yeah, man, what the heck has happened to the Marlins, man? They were looking pretty good, and now they're 12.5 games out of the NL East. So, yeah, it's Braves are looking pretty good right now, man. I will say that. 8.5 games up on the Phils.
By the way, the Braves starting rotation outside of Chris Sale took the conversation about the trade deadline personally because they've been lights out starting the past couple days.
Yeah, no, they've been real good. So we'll see how it goes this weekend, man. But hopefully we'll have a lot to talk about with our teams heading into Monday.
Well, unlike you, I won't trash talk you through text message if the Braves end up winning, I promise.
I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, take care, man. We'll see you on Monday.
All right, see ya.
All right, coming up next, it is Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. We'll get back into what happened at camp. Also, 29 days until kickoff. What's the trivia question? Find out on the other side here on the game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
You love summer in the Carolinas, but you hate the paint, so do what all your neighbors did. They called Rhino Shield.
Looked at what it was costing me to have my house painted and realized that while it cost more initially for Rhino Shield, over the life of the product, it's a lot less.
Rhino Shield specifically formulated for our unique climate right here in the Carolinas, and it comes with a 25-year transferable warranty.
We chose Rhino Shield because of the durability of the product. Paints are mostly water. Less water gives you a more resilient product.
The warranty 25 years is something I just don't think you can beat.
We're very excited that we don't ever have to paint again.
Get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
Really would like to say thank you to their entire staff. Everybody all did exactly what they said they were going to do, exactly the way I wanted it done.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again.
As we guys get older, things start to change, and not for the better. You know, whether it's rest, whether it's memory, strength, recovery, there's a lack of oomph in your life. You need answers. You could get them from the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Call 803-875-MENS. Set a free consultation up with Dr. Dan and the staff. They'll do a testosterone test on you and put together a program to get you feeling like you again. Again, call the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, 803-875-MENS.
The reason many of us hate insurance companies is because some of them act like bullies. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been dealing with these creatures my whole career. Whether it's a workers' comp claim, an auto accident, or a nursing home or medical mishap, the playbook is often the same: deny and delay. We became the largest injury firm in America for a reason. We fight the bullies. They know who we are, and I know it makes a difference for our clients. Just go to forthepeople.com and see our results and our verdicts after those bullies gave us their final offer. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. It's easy to get going. Visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer, or call us on your cell at Pound Law, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. forthepeople.com.
Joe Standifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go: Twin Peaks. From juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head to Twin Peaks, where the views are great, the food hits hard, and the beer is always colder than your ex's heart. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
29 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Elijah Campbell from the game here, and so is back to school. New schedules, new routines. Now give your home a fresh start with 3 rooms of insanely clean carpets plus a free hallway for just $109. Plus save $75 on air duct cleaning. Look today at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head.
To the house!
On 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
O'clock, Friday morning. Welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Friday on the Game. An exciting Friday that it is. It is day one of Camp for South Carolina. Earlier on this morning, media got to view a couple periods. We'll get into what happened in those periods and what you guys were able to see. But how was camp day one? And feels like the first day of school, 29 days away from kickoff, finally having some things happen on the field, and excited to talk about it.
Yeah, well, the first thing, Tyler, let's back up. So, were you vindicated yesterday?
I was.
Shane Beamer.
Okay. So, all right. I was going to save this for the end of the show. Okay. However, Wes does have to leave early, so I guess I'll
for work purposes.
For work
Tyler,
purposes, yes. I'm not hating on you for that. However, we've been having the discussion all week long.
Argument,
yes. Even though there's no wrong answers. Apparently, my answer for when talking season ends is wrong.
I was wrong when I said that there were no wrong answers.
Because my answer was wrong.
There is a wrong answer.
However, unprompted, at the beginning of the press conference yesterday, what did old Beamer have to say about when talking season ended?
Coach Spurrier used to call it talking season is finally over, and there's been a lot of talk since last January, and now we finally get to go do what we love to do, and that's practice football and start playing football in 4 weeks from Saturday, and fired up to get on the field with the guys tomorrow.
There's my case. The head ball coach himself, or the quote of the head ball coach from the current head ball coach, Shane Beamer, said talking season's over. Again, I don't feel like there's a wrong answer. I just feel like Wes should validate my answer a little bit more now. Just saying.
Let me help you. I'll help Wes a little bit here from my perspective. Talking season is over for the team. For the media, it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Tyler, I thought you said talking season ended when SEC Media Days was over.
Well, he didn't say
He's saying when camp starts, which was another option on there, actually.
I'm just asking for more validity to what my answer was.
Okay. I'll give you that.
You're discrediting my entire answer.
The data has spoken. You saw
I did see the poll.
Yeah. I even let you pick what the answers were.
Yeah, and they were not on my side. But this is open to everybody's interpretation. I just want more respect for what my answer was. That's all I'm asking for here.
Okay. I respectfully hear you.
That's all that I needed. Thank you. Now we can move on.
Come on, Coach. When he said that, I was like, this is going to be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt.
I had to rewind it to make sure I heard it correctly. I'm like, oh, did you now?
Oh, yeah. Did you say that?
Did you say that? Yes, indeed. A lot of things happened at camp. We'll get to it as the show rolls along.
I wonder if he voted in our poll.
Oh, I wonder if he did. Maybe he voted for my answer. Maybe he was one of the 4.8%.
He might have been the only one person that voted for it.
Well, I voted for it, so it would have to be two people.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, it's an open poll. I'm allowed to vote, right?
Okay. All right, never mind. You're right.
Anyways.
We'll talk about that off air.
Anyways, we'll get to what happened at camp coming up in a minute. We are 29 days away from kickoff. Chris, you closed the gap to 1 point yesterday with you answering the question correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Today's 29. Not a whole lot of 29s to pick from. Elliott Fry was one. Any other 29s?
Wow.
Any other 29s out there you can think of?
Do we have an Elliott Fry question coming? So we were talking.
How did we forget Elliott? We were talking about 29 yesterday.
We almost always forget somebody
Elliott,
like very obvious.
I love Elliott Fry.
Well, he was small. It's easy to overlook him, I guess.
Oof. Yeah, we JT eBay came up.
David Spalding.
Good pull.
That's a guy's name in dudes if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. Played a good bit, you know. Not
There's
like
some other
super
29s
random.
out there, man.
Those are the main ones, I think. Those are the main ones.
Those are the main ones.
Those are the ones you
in
need.
Gamecock history.
I don't know. It's I don't know. Is 29 a weird football number?
Yes.
A little bit. Yeah.
I mean, like even like running backs and stuff like that. I feel like you don't see them as much.
No, you don't.
29 is a freshman / I'm trying to make the 53-man roster. Hey, man, here's a jersey. It's kind of number. Nobody's paying anybody to wear 29.
It's one of those things like, all right, if you do well enough, you can change your number.
Yes.
Like your sophomore year.
Yes.
To
you know what I want to see?
cooler.
I want to see somebody own the number 29. Make it your own.
Okay.
Anyway, continue. Who's 29?
Cedric Cisse?
Yes.
Brandon Cisse's brother.
Yes.
Mhm.
Currently.
Walk on DB.
The only 29 we have.
That's right.
Couldn't think of a question for him. Funny enough. However, I do have one for Elliott Fry. Keep it pretty simple here. Elliott Fry, pretty successful kicker in his career here at South Carolina. What was his career long, and who did he do it against?
55 yards, Vanderbilt.
What year?
2016.
Wes, do you have a
Game
different
winner.
answer?
There's like less than a minute left.
Golly. No, Chris got it. I
started trying to answer faster because you beat me so many times to the buzzer.
Gummit, we're tied. I'll just
You'll throw it out there.
57 yards against Kentucky. Completely made up. I think Chris got it, man.
Yeah, Chris got that one. That was seemed pretty easy for you.
That was, as far as Tyler questions go, a little easier. Little on the easier side.
Well, I like to throw you guys a softball every...
I figured you'd come, like, when you first said Elliott Fry, I was like, all right, he's going with, like, how many points did Elliott Fry have
I
in
thought
his
he was going to
career?
go, like, career field goal percentage or how many PATs did he attempt as a sophomore.
Well, let's go down memory lane and let's relive what happened against Vanderbilt in 2016.
Now Elliott Fry lines up for a 55-yard field goal off the left hash mark. Snap it back to Kelly. Put it down. Kick it up.
It's long
Good
enough.
distance. Turning a little bit. He's got it. Elliott Fry just kicked a 55-yard field goal.
Can you believe it? He wasn't close. I think he had about 5 yards across.
With 35 seconds to go in the ball game. Are you kidding me?
There you go. Yeah, that would have been good from about 60.
Man, good job, Chris. Good job.
Holder Sean Kelly, starting punter at that time. No relation to Max, I don't think.
That we know of. Wait,
Actually,
it's not spelled the same.
Spelled differently. Max has the extra E.
2 additional thoughts. That was the opener of the Muschamp era.
Yep.
Who started at quarterback that day?
Ooh, that's a good one.
For no points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I feel like you should get this one.
It wasn't McElwain, was it? No.
Nope.
No.
He's been on the show.
Was it Perry?
Perry Orth.
Yeah, Perry.
Perry
That's what I was
started.
going to say, and I was like, was he hurt? And I was like, no, he wasn't hurt.
The one of the things I remember about that day, though, either the day before or the day of, some website, it wasn't one of like the main local ones, ran a story saying that Brandon McElwain was going to be South Carolina's game 1 starter.
Oof.
And everybody was talking about it and asking questions about it, and it was literally just a pre-write that got accidentally published. And it was like they just had it ready, which is very common in what we do, but somebody hit publish, and boom, now you're breaking news that does not exist. And the other thing is, did y'all hear the crowd? That game was in Nashville.
Yep.
And, I know South Carolina has typically traveled well to that game, but it was loud. Very loud.
Well,
Vandy actually missed a field goal, 45-yarder. Gave South Carolina the ball back, and then they went on a little drive. And
do y'all, you may have the box score pulled up, but do you know who Vanderbilt's quarterback was that year?
Yeah, well, I cheated. I kind of already saw. It was Kyle Shermer.
8 of 22 for 73 yards in that game.
I don't remember that being a very fun game to watch, really, on either side. Only thing I remember is being like, this Brian Edwards kid is pretty good.
Yes.
8 catches for 101 in that game.
Statistically, yeah, punt, fumble, touchdown, punt,
All right,
fumble.
all right.
Yeah.
It's day one, Tyler.
Not the
Stop.
most fun game to
Stop.
watch. All
We
right.
got to
Day
get some
one.
positive
Yeah.
vibes.
Well,
New season.
Too much special teams today between
yes.
the viewing period and that. Too much special teams.
Yeah, we'll switch the vibes coming up next as they were out there at camp. We'll get their observations of what they saw and what we can look forward to over the next month. Coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Friday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
A moment of good feels from your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Asia Wilson and the Gamecocks are #1.
Now that's some good feels right there.
For the first time in school history, NCAA champions of women's college basketball.
From 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
All right, guys, going to tell you about our friends over at Integrated Media, IntegratedMediaSC.com or 803-948-8327. We tell you about them every day here on the program. Our friends Michael and Nathan. Happy late birthday to Nathan. Had a birthday recently. They come out to my home and Wes's home and helped us out with a variety of AV and tech projects. Everything as simple as, hey, I need a new TV mounted. Hey, I need to know what the best type of TV is in 2026. They can source the equipment for you. They can recommend the best equipment for you. You don't have to go to the big box stores online. Everything you need from start to finish, you can get from our friends over at Integrated Media, again, by going to integratedmediainc.com. Everything as simple as mounting a TV to a complete smart home system. Control your lights, devices, thermostats, security, and cameras from the touch of a button. If you're moving, they can move all that stuff for you. If you got new construction, they can help you with that. Or if you just want to trick out that man cave or outdoor space that you've been dreaming of, 803-948-8327, Integrated Media.
The new Smokin' Honey Melts are here at Firehouse Subs. They were founded by firefighters, so when they make a new melt, they build it right. Melty, toasty, and packed with prime rib or grilled chicken breast, then drizzle with the new Smokin' Honey Chipotle sauce. Sweet, smoky, built right. It takes a Firehouse kitchen to make a melt this good. Try the new Smokin' Honey Melts today, only at Firehouse Subs, at participating U.S. restaurants.
I'm Jason Reynolds. You may wonder if you're better off hiring a big corporate law firm with hundreds of lawyers, or should you go local?
I'm Stephen Samuels. With the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, you get me, or Jason, or Mike. You have your own lawyer who can go toe-to-toe with anybody from big law to big insurance.
Here's how you know. Call 803-779-4000. You won't get a robot. You'll get one of our wonderful people taking your call. Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers.
Most gutter companies in the Midlands will take your money and disappear when something goes wrong. I'm Sheena with the Gutter Men. We're licensed, insured, and we'll prove it before we touch your home. Over 40 years, 358 five-star reviews, and we'll back every job with something most companies won't put in writing. If you're not completely satisfied, we come back. No excuses. Call 803-791-7147 and ask for your free estimate, or find us at theguttermen.com.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the Gutter Men.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000 $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GAIN to borrow up to $10,000.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Friday here in the game. Tyler, Wes, and Chris. Wes does have to bounce before the next segment, so I'm currently texting you today's buy or sell so you can get your answers in so you can play along even if you're not going to be here. So
you kicking Wes out even
early? Why are we doing buy or sell at the very end?
Because we got to talk about camp stuff first. You want to talk about camp stuff, right?
Yeah, sure.
Or do you want to play buy or sell right now?
No, that's fine.
Okay. I'm giving you the option.
I thought we had another segment we could do buy or sell.
Yeah, Wes is leaving before the last segment.
Oh, I thought you were leaving at the...
We got two more full guys. You know?
Okay. All right. I misread your text. I'm in here doing a lot of things. I thought it was after the second segment.
No, you're good, Tyler.
All right. No, never mind. I don't have to text you the buy or sell then.
All right.
Save yourself another task.
We got time. All right, cool. Anyways, camp is happening this morning. You guys were out there. Again, you saw some stretching, saw some special teams work. Got to see the Garnet jerseys up close and personal. What stands out from what you guys got to see this morning?
Most Garnet jerseys I've ever seen. Like that. In all seriousness, though, their practice jerseys, they're very, very plain, but they look kind of sharp. Like,
they're slick.
You can tell they're new as well. You know, like that.
Yeah.
I think over time, I'm sure practice jerseys get reused and reused and reused and washed and washed and you could tell these were brand new. And man, an excellent opposite of the Nike swoosh, just tons of room for a sponsor as well.
Gamecock Central.
So yeah, you never know what might pop up on that in the
South
future.
Carolina Education Lottery.
There you go. Integrated media, just rattle them off. There you go. But yeah, we got to see some kicking, some stretching, some drill work. And I tell you what, man, I actually thought we learned a lot more yesterday than we did today. Like having access to, obviously Beamer spoke, a lot of typical preseason stuff from that, but being able to talk to assistant coaches, being able to talk to players, kind of walk around, dive into some more kind of intricate things. That to me, Chris, is like where the meat is on the bone right now in terms of new information. And I think continued buzz for me that a couple of newcomers, not just spring guys, summer guys, and Darius Gray and Sequel Patterson, that's the headline to me, that these two guys have a chance to help this team in some way. I chatted with Darius a little bit, talked to Clem about Darius. First of all, man, this kid just does not look like a freshman. He doesn't sound like a freshman. I thought Clem had a fantastic quote. He said, I don't know how you want to phrase it, but he's a dog. And he said, just talking about Darius Gray, he came in and absolutely destroyed summer conditioning. What a quote, man. Like that's when your coach is talking about you like that as a true freshman, that's a pretty good first step. Clem went on to say he's very intelligent, very mature for his age, not a typical 19-year-old. Excited to see him actually go out there and compete against college-aged guys, but confident that he can do fine. So I don't know, man. Like that to me, like you're always kind of trying to let the fans know, hey, who do I need to know that's new? I think we kind of exhausted that list a little bit in the spring of the guys you need to know from that group, but it's not easy to come in the summer and do it, but it is possible. We've seen it, And to me, those are the two headlines right now. That was one of my takeaways from yesterday.
Yeah, that caught my attention with Clem once I saw you publish that. Clem is a guy that, and I think this is common with a lot of coaches. Some coaches you go up to them and you can get some stuff that'll kind of single out players. Some of them don't single out guys quite as much. They'll give you a good answer. But, like, for instance, talking to Mike Furry, great personality. He's been a former head coach. Stan Drayton's been a former head coach. Like, they know a little bit more of, like, all right, let's keep it a little bit more, not generic's a bad word, but, like, not single out guys as much. Clem, I talked to him yesterday as well and just, heard him talk, whether it was, going back and looking at some of his media stuff when he was at other schools or just here. Like, he's not one to come out that strong always. And so for him to do that for Darius Gray, a guy who, again, was not here during spring, he just got here recently, that really stood out to me. Calling a guy a dog, saying that he destroyed summer workouts, like, that's kind of stronger than Clem goes on a lot of other things. And to tie that in, one other thing, I was asking Clem yesterday about the center position and cross-training guys. And one of the things that came up was, like, how many centers do you want to carry? How many guys do you feel like you've got to have snapping the ball? Because and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but his quote was, if you don't have guys that can snap, you don't have anything. That's the first position that you have to figure out. And, he obviously, we know Carter Miller and Nolan Hay are kind of your guys that you're really monitoring in preseason camp. But if, Darius Gray, a guy that I think has NFL center potential, and we'll see early in preseason kind of where they slot him. But Clem noted, hey, you typically take 3 centers on the road for an SEC road game. You want to have 3 guys that can snap the ball. Maybe they're not true center, but you got to have a couple guys, and you got to at least have a guy that, hey, if we get in a pinch, we can put that guy in. Darius Gray, he may be putting himself, again, they're not even in pads yet. But, like, just what he's done already and what the staff thinks of him, it seems like he's kind of put himself in the conversation already to play some.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the guy's going to help this team at some point. But how much of a mouthful is that sentence? Not to throw anybody on the bus, but knowing what we saw last year, just the number of issues at the center position. And, and I'd forgotten about it, but somebody did bring that up to me, I feel like, at some point last year. And I was like, you know what, man, that's kind of an obvious thing, but it makes a lot of sense. And that is, how can you expect the other 4 guys to be in sync and to perform and to gel and to be on the same page if there are issues with the snap and the timing of the snap? Like that's the first step of all this. So I think, and I really don't even know if Clem was, like, referring back to last year or if he was just making a general point that very much stands for South Carolina. But, there were enough other issues, the scheme, guys individually not developing the way they needed to. But how much did they maybe possibly even get made to look worse because of the timing issues at that position?
For sure.
Yeah. Again, a lot of things happen at camp today. You guys also get a period coming up tomorrow. Do things as well that we can talk about on Monday. Jack noted that Dylan Stewart was out there in one of the black jerseys. He said he didn't see Jakari Speaky either. Of course, those are 2 guys that we're keeping up with the most when it comes to the injuries. So encouraging to see that Stewart's out there in some capacity, even if he's not there doing stuff yet, but he's still out there to some degree. And obviously that's something to monitor over the next couple weeks of, okay, when these guys start actually getting involved in doing things, that's obviously going to be a big story, because I don't know how much Beamer's going to tell us between now and then. And again, we're not owed injury reports until week number 3 against Mississippi State. So that's something we're going to be watching very closely.
Availability reports.
Ooh,
which are definitely injury reports. But yeah, I mean, as expected, that was, I did like how Beamer yesterday was like, there's nothing new. It's the same. And then he tells us, but they're going to be, limited in practice tomorrow. I'm like, well, that is actually a little bit new in terms of I think we all maybe assumed, but yeah, that was the expectation today. That certainly is, how things were this morning. And, Jacarius Peak spoke to the media yesterday. He was there. He, I don't want to say he was he was moving around, just walking like normal, right?
Yep.
Like, which is certainly different than playing SEC college football. But I mean, would you have noticed he was like if you had no prior context whatsoever?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Would you have known that guy was hurt?
No.
So I think that's I think that's a great sign, man. So yeah, like I hesitate to even say so I was like, man, we got to be careful. We're out there for 15 minutes. So if you're like, Peak wasn't there, that's really not accurate. I'm sure he was around, he was out there. We just were not privy of seeing him in the short viewing window that we did have. So it kind of feels like he's maybe even a little bit further along than you might have expected him to be, given a major knee injury in the offseason.
They're just hiding him behind a curtain until you guys leave, and then he comes out and practices.
Well, I mean, there's 1,000 people out there, too. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, one thing.
The entire NFL was there, I think.
God, there were a bunch of scouts out there. Yeah, no doubt. Bunch of guys to watch this year. One thing that did stand out, though, to kind of keep along the defensive front and injuries, that was a group. The edge group was really thin this spring, and there's more bodies available now. That's one. I mean, you noted that, Wes, in the practice updates on Gamecock Central. Quay Dodd's out there, George Wilson's out there. I didn't spot him, but I think Kobe Sechi-Pra, who we had on the Garnet Trust Tower recently, I think he's going to be a go in preseason. He missed the spring recovering from the injury last year, so a few more bodies that we're going to get to see a little bit and certainly hear about in terms of the progression, because that's the spot, as we know. Got Caleb Herring. Anthony Addison had a really good spring. Julian Walker is a true freshman. He had a good spring. A lot of buzz about him. But some of those other younger guys, we've had more than one person tell us, Wes, like, hey, don't sleep on George Wilson. He could have helped last year, had that injury. More of probably a designated pass rusher, like third down type guy. But the room, when you look at just the available guys at defensive tackle and edge, even without Dylan out there full go right now, they've got some bodies. They're going to have a little bit more competition even than I think they had back in the spring.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, that was the first window we got to view for camp so far this preseason. We'll get another one coming up tomorrow, a little bit more of an extended one. So hopefully you guys get to see some more stuff that we'll be able to talk about coming in on Monday. And then, we're off and rolling here. We'll hear from Beamer and the assistants and players pretty much every week from now until the season begins. And 29 days till we'll kick things off against Kent State on September the 5th. We'll hit buy or sell coming up next as your Friday rolls along here on the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. It's 2026 SEC Media Days.
And The Game was there all week.
Is the legislation really what you're asking, what I would have drafted had I been given the pen solely? No. But that's part of the legislative process, the back and forth.
On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Action Matters.
Attention anyone who has had a colonoscopy, endoscopy, or any other scope procedure. If you or a loved one developed a serious infection or health complication after a scope procedure, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Dangerous infections have been reported across the country linked to Olympus endoscopes. Olympus scopes may have been defectively designed, and manufacturer instructions may not have been adequate in enabling proper disinfection, putting patients' health at risk. If you or a loved one were hospitalized for a bacterial infection within 90 days of a scope procedure, or developed sepsis, organ failure, HIV, tuberculosis, an antibiotic-resistant superbug, or another serious complication following a scope procedure, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call now to find out if you qualify, but hurry. Time to file a claim could be limited.
Call 800-891-1857 now to see if you qualify. That's 800-891-1857. 800-891-1857.
Summer in Daniel Island just got hotter. Tim McGraw, the Pawn Shop Guitar Tour. Get lost in the songs you love to sing. Tim McGraw. Credit One Stadium, Saturday, August 8th.
I went skydiving.
Get ready for a summer show you don't want to miss. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
Elijah Campbell here with 107.5 The Game to tell you that Back to School 2026 is here. New backpacks, new schedules, new routines. Now give your home a fresh start with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of insanely clean carpets plus a free hallway for just $109. Plus, save $75 on professional air duct cleaning to help everyone breathe a little easier this school year. Book today at ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
At Herndon Chevrolet, there's no need to wait a week for service. Our full team of technicians is ready to get your vehicle checked the same day. From oil changes to major repairs, we're here to keep you moving with expert care you can count on every time. Fast appointments, trusted repairs, convenient service, and a friendly team ready to help you. Only at Herndon Chevrolet.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
As we guys get older, things start to change, and not for the better. You know, whether it's rest, whether it's memory, strength, recovery, there's a lack of oomph in your life. You need answers. You could get them from the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Call 803-875-MENS. Set a free consultation up with Dr. Dan and the staff. They'll do a testosterone test on you and put together a program to get you feeling like you again. Again, call the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, 803-875-MENS.
Currently car shopping? State Credit Union just announced a new lower car loan interest rate, as low as 3.95% APR with no payments for up to 90 days. Visit one of their 8 Midlands locations or their website, scscu.com, to take advantage of car loan rates as low as 3.95% APR today. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA.
How can I help you?
Live agent!
Stop talking to robots and start talking to Cumulus Digital. Get help from a real digital marketing expert who knows your streets and neighbors. Go to cumulusdigital.com, fill out the form, and connect to a real person.
Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Friday. Tyler, Wes, and Chris wrapping up the week. It's 11:30 on a Friday. You know what time it is. It's time to buy or sell.
Can't take no more, it ain't no lie. I wanna see you out that door, baby, bye, bye, bye.
Guys, this will also be the last buy or sell to not feature live football questions until like mid-February or late February, because the Super Bowl's not till Valentine's Day. So we're off and rolling next week. We'll get some preseason questions in, and then boom, we're into the thick of it a couple weeks after that.
When do we start keeping score? Start of the season or next week?
So do we want to wait until week 1 or week 0 of college football? Because this is more college football centric. We wrapped it up on the day of the national championship last year. So I'm leaving it up to you guys. Week 0, week 1 of college football, we can start keeping score.
Well, Wes doesn't believe in week 0.
All right. Even though I do not I don't at all believe in week 0. Let me just say that again. I don't. However, I'm ready to start this. So I say we don't wait until week 1. We will do it during the fake week.
Okay. So we agree. Week 0
Real contest during the fake week.
The fake week that West does not recognize. We will start asking questions.
How many weeks away are we from that?
We're 22 days, so 3 weeks. So yes, 3 weeks from tomorrow, you can actually watch college football happen on your TV, whether you acknowledge it or not.
I'm ready.
AI football.
You know what? That's probably not far off in the future, if you're being honest.
Yeah.
Anyways, buy or sell for today. Question number 1, it is football related. Of course, earlier on, or at the end of last week, we got the preliminary injunction from the judge that allowed certain players from the class of 2022 to return to college football if they want to, if they had already entered their names in the transfer portal. Indiana's already popped a couple of guys back out of that with their leading tackler in a tackle for loss leader in the Big Ten, Stephen Daly, the other day, and then Kellen Wyatt, the linebacker, yesterday. They have other options in this list of guys that can come back. So buy or sell, by Monday, Indiana gets at least one more player back from the class of 2022.
I'd like to also go ahead and bring something to the court. Once week 0 gets here, during the 11 o'clock to noon hour, the phrases preliminary injunction, court, TRO, litigation, extra year, maybe fifth year is fine. But any of that stuff, the name Darren Heitner will all be banned from the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
Darren catching strays.
From week 0, fake week, through the national championship.
I do
declare.
I can support that.
I do declare. What if there's like a really big court case again?
That does not matter.
Okay, none.
It'd be the most earth-shattering court case in college football history.
Doesn't matter.
Not from 11 or 12.
They're like, are y'all going to talk about that? No.
Nope, doesn't exist.
We're not allowed.
We have rules.
It's been declared.
I can't ask you guys questions about the 2003 UAB game anymore for trivia.
Or any UAB game.
Or any UAB game for that matter. Was 2012 last time they played?
Sure.
Anyways, no more UAB questions. And from week 0 to January 25th, not a single mention of anything court-related on the Gamecock Central Takeover.
Yes, there will be a list of banned words for the show that I will disseminate.
Put them right there.
Yeah.
Should we have a jar for, like, if you accidentally mention it or bring it up? Like,
no, there is no mentioning it. There's no accidents.
If Chris is like, oh, hey, remember that court case? He said it. It's $1.
Yeah, he's kicked off.
It's going to be tough for me, but I will try. I will try.
I also am going to ban the phrase, it was close or it'll be close for Chris.
Okay.
And making excuses.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's an indirect way.
Almost got it.
Well, for the next.
All right, I'm gonna buy Indiana. They're gonna add like 5 more guys.
Yeah, how many more guys are possible? I've not studied their roster.
Yeah, so looking at the list that NACO's put out the other day, because again, they got Stephen Daly back the other day. They got Kellen Wyatt back. They still have a wide receiver, Jonathan Brady. There's one more guy on here. Where did we go? They have a tight end in Holden Stays as well. So at least 2 more.
Transfer, I think.
Yeah, at least 2 more that are possible.
Okay, I'll buy 2. If they've got a guy available, I'm buying.
Buy across the board. Why not? And Indiana just going to rebuild its team from last year and look even scarier. They're getting a little bit overlooked. Everybody's talking about Ohio State and Oregon, winning the Big Ten. It's like, don't forget about Indiana, man.
Number 6 Indiana.
Indiana.
Disrespected.
Getting disrespected. I fully expect Cignetti to play that card at some point this year. Going to baseball now. Tyler Mahle getting set to make his debut for the Braves tonight as they take on the New York Yankees. Max Fried will be on the mound for the Yankees, of course, former Braves pitcher. Buy or sell, Mahle goes deeper into the game than Max Fried.
I got to sell that.
I got to sell that as well, but let me just say that Jack Veltry's Yankees are going down this week.
I told him I'd be kinder than Yuva is, and I wouldn't text him if they end up winning the series or something like that, because I feel like he deals with enough of the ridicule whenever the Yankees and Red Sox play each other.
I will not do the same. I will text Jack if the Braves win.
Well, I won't, so it'll balance out.
Yeah.
I'll sell as well. Hopefully Mahle has a good outing for the Braves, but Fried's a better pitcher, and that will translate tonight as well. Speaking of baseball, Dodgers on a 6-game losing streak right now. They're paying the sins of the Tyreek Skubal trade. They head to take on the Diamondbacks this weekend. Buy or sell, the Dodgers dropped 2 out of 3 against their divisional rival.
Nah, weekends feel, I don't know. Weekends feel more important to me in baseball. Dodgers will refocus. They'll take 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Sell for West. Same for me.
Okay.
Same logic. They're not going to stay down for that long.
Yeah, you got to get off it at some point. Too good of a team to lose 7 games in a row. My goodness, that'd be crazy. The
Braves have a better record than them now.
They do. The Braves are on an 8-game winning streak.
That's a great way to pick up games.
It is.
Just to.
But, by the way, the Braves pitching staff, the starters at least, have taken the conversation around the trade deadline very personally.
Yeah, I took that personally.
Because they have been dealing the past couple of days. Now it's the Marlins, but still.
Yeah, that's a great way to feel good about yourself is to play the Marlins.
Yeah.
Did you watch the game yesterday, by the way, Tyler? I know I keep getting us off today. I've had too much caffeine.
I was flipping.
The Marlins looked
flipping back and forth.
Awful.
Yeah, they look like they didn't deserve to be
handed
in the
Acuna
pros.
a home run. I don't know if you saw that. I'm sure you did.
See that.
That was a Three Stooges home run if I've ever seen one.
A guy made an error in the outfield or in the field later on to extend an inning, and then they put him into pitch. When has that ever happened?
Take the ball.
Yes.
Well, now they have the thing where, like, if you're down by a certain amount, you can bring in, like, you have to be down a certain amount of runs to bring in a position player to pitch.
Well, I know. You used to not have that rule at all. You could just pitch them anytime.
Yeah, because now you're not trying to burn up your bullpen in a game you're not going to win. But, yeah, that is funny to, all right, sucked in the field, go try the mound.
Bro, you got us into this. You can get us out of it.
It's your mess. Clean it up.
Yeah.
All right, buy or sell number 4. This weekend, Asia Wilson and the Aces take on the Minnesota Lynx, who have the best record in all of the WNBA. Asia Wilson on an 11-game streak of 20-plus points. That continues on Saturday against the Lynx.
Yeah, she'll be dialed in again, I think. She's on a roll. Let me buy that. They had a big win last night, by the way, in OT.
Yeah, how could I go against her with a streak like that? So I'm going to buy that as well.
We'll buy across the board. We're going to agree on everything today. She also had
not good.
She also had 24 points against them in their first matchup earlier on this year. So, rare instance where we actually all agree on everything and buy or sell.
Terrible sign.
Bad sign. It means we're going to get everything wrong.
She's not just having, like, 20-point games that, like, 26, 23, but she's also, I mean, she's had 36, 33, 38. Like, she's putting up. She's dealing.
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
She keeps reminding people of that.
No doubt about it. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour in the week. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour here on your Friday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gym that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
All the New York Yankee fans that are upset about the team's supposed inactivity at the trade deadline need to realize this. The New York Yankees are the best team in the American League, at least on paper. And I'm expecting Aaron Judge to return this year. And if and when Judge does return, the offense is going to rake. The postseason top 3 in the rotation are ridiculous. David Bednar's a boss at the back end of the bullpen. The Yankees will go to the World Series. I'm Nick Costa.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever. Now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference. Game.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-793-8074 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-793-8074. That's 800-793-8074. What do you have to lose? Call 800-793-8074. Again, 800-793-8074.
Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Tyler and Chris wrapping things up as Wes had to bounce a little bit early to get to some work-related stuff. But wrapping up the week, again, it's day one of camp. You guys will get another availability coming up tomorrow. We'll react to that. There's a lot of stuff from Media Day yesterday with Beamer, with the assistants, with the players that we can dive into more as we get into next week. But as we wrap up the hour with only a few minutes here, we need to get to the bottom of something because we have a bit of a mystery on our hands. So every year at this, Elijah likes to ask as many players as he can about their welcome to college football moment. Like, hey, what's that moment in practice or a game? We're like, hey, I'm not in high school anymore. Very fun thing to hear. He and Preston do a good job with playing that stuff in the morning and reacting to it. And you get some pretty interesting stories from these guys. I listened to the one from Caleb Herring, who, again, transferred over from Tennessee and is going to be playing for South Carolina for his first season here this season. His was an interesting answer that I feel like we need to figure out who exactly he's talking about. Here is what Caleb Herring had to say about his welcome to college football moment.
Yeah, I did. Especially against South Carolina my freshman. I'm not going to say who did it. I won't say who did it, but it happened. Remember, I was running down on kickoff. They just ran down, like the ball wasn't even returned or nothing. But I was running. They say, I just felt the blind side, got blindsided. Flew, did like a little barrel roll, got back up. I thought, yeah, talking mess to him. I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna see you again. They say, I did it again, but I forgot. I did it again, got hit again. I remember I got back up the second time. I was like, dang, like my arm kind of numb and stuff. Went over to the sideline. Yeah, I was just like, man, like I gotta be more aware. And yeah, that was more of like my welcome to college football moment. I'm not gonna say who did it, but it was somebody from this.
So for reference, Caleb Herring's freshman year at Tennessee was in 2023, which was the last time that South Carolina saw the Volunteers. Road game in Knoxville. Carolina lost that game. Not a fun night out there on Rocky Top. But when I hear that answer, Chris, I'm assuming that person's still on the team. And he doesn't want to give credit to, hey, it was that guy over there that knocked me off my block on those kickoff returns. Who do we think did it?
Oh, I don't. It did kind of seem like it was somebody that he now knows.
Yes.
It kind of cut off a little bit at the end, and it almost sounded like he was saying that they're still on the team, like or hinting at it. And if it was just some dude, like if it wasn't somebody on the team, he probably just been like, yeah, some dude from South Carolina just waylaid me. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing here is that I have pulled up the 2023 Tennessee-South Carolina game.
Okay.
Which is on a platform here. And I'm trying to see. Like, I've watched the opening kickoff.
Sure.
And, they follow the ball, so the ball...
Yeah, it's hard to see follow players individually unless you have the all 22.
Yeah. Who would have been on that South Carolina roster that could fit the bill that played special teams? I mean, there's a lot of options, right? I mean, okay. So, I mean, do you have any guesses? Have you dug into this?
I heard the clip last night, and I heard it again this morning. And again, listen to his answer. I'm like, it's got to be somebody on the team. But I haven't dug into the roster of who could be like the thumper from the 2023 special teams. And again, figuring out special team snaps and stuff like that, a little bit trickier than offense and defense. But I'd love to know who it is.
So one guy that came to mind that was on that team, and I can't remember if would he have played. I think he did. Mo Brown would be a good guess. If you had no other, Mo Brown was on that team. He played. I don't think he played early, but as the season went along, he played on special teams. And Mo is a big special teams player.
Mm-hmm.
And Mo loves to hit people.
He looks like he likes to hit people.
He loves to hit people. I mean, that's something everybody says.
You don't get a neck roll without loving hitting people.
Well, and the funny thing is, when you look at that 2023 roster, there is a lot of turnover from that roster to now.
Yep.
And some of it's just guys graduated, right? Guys who were playing, they were older at the time. They're now no longer on the team. And then, of course, you've got transfers. But, man, there's not – you know what? If I had to guess, that is actually my guess because there's not a lot of guys. Like, I'm going up and down. So, Nick Harbor was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Lenore Sellers.
Yep.
Sellers wasn't out there waylaying people on kicks. Bakari Swain was on the team in 23.
Yep.
Judge Collier. Kilgore graduated, so he's not on there. Spalding, no. Peyton Williams was on the team. Mo Brown.
Right. So I have the list because I'm assuming he's talking about when Tennessee was kicking off, right?
That's my assumption.
All right, I have
running down the field is what he made it sound like.
Here are all the guys that were on kickoff return team that night. So Pup Howard not here anymore. Grayson Manus no. Andrew Colasardo, he's not on the team anymore.
No.
Ronnie Porter, Juju McDowell, King Ford. I think it is Mo Brown because I don't see anybody else on this kickoff return team that would still be on the team.
Mo was on it?
Mo was on it.
That is him.
Leggett, Peyton Mangrum. I think we figured this out.
Good detective work.
Yeah. Keenan Nelson, no. Mario Anderson, no. Yeah, I think it was Mo Brown.
Yeah, it had to be.
Which is very believable.
Absolutely fits the bill.
Shout out Pro Football Focus for special team snap count numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So you check that instead of the Gamecocks Online box score?
Yeah,
because I don't think they break it down into who was on a specific team.
I went to that game, and then you go to the special teams, and you can break it up by kick return, kick coverage, snaps, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, of the guys that did all the kick returns that night, yeah, Mo Brown is the only one that would still be on the team.
Okay, that's got to be it. Do you think they've talked about it since? Would have been a good follow-up. Maybe Elijah did ask that.
I don't know. That's a good question. If we can loop back around to Caleb Herring, maybe if he speaks to the media or something like, hey, remember when you said you had that kickoff return problem against Carolina? Was it Mo Brown? Because if you confront him with the person, you'd be like, yeah, you got me.
Like, look,
sorry.
We researched this. We did about 10 minutes of research live on the air, and we figured this thing out. That's the only person it can be, we know. So
which, hey, again, very believable.
Yeah.
And for Mo Brown, because he was on scholarship at that point in time,
yeah,
he was trying to prove himself. So knocking a guy off his block a couple times in a game, especially for Pete Limbo, that probably got you a gold star or whatever they give out to guys.
Eventually a scholarship.
There you go. Yeah, that went on the way to getting the scholarship.
Mo Brown's fun to watch on special. Just no regard for human life.
Yeah, he's a guy that gets 110% every time, no matter what he's doing.
It's like watching Haynes King play quarterback for the Panthers.
How about that last night?
Watch out, Kenny Pickett.
I don't know how long Haynes King's football career is going to last, but he's never not going to give 110%.
He's fun to watch. It was a good game last night.
I tweeted a clip of this too. He's like the Jeff Hardy of football, right? Where Hardy would jump off 30-foot ladders just on a whim. Didn't really care about what it did to his body. Still does that to this day. And Haynes King is kind of like that.
Yeah. Shane McMahon.
Hey, there you go.
Shane O'Mac liked to jump off things too.
Steve Blackman when he knocked him off the scaffolding at, was it SummerSlam? And he fell like 50 feet. Oh, crazy, man. Haynes King just like that. That'll do it for the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Halftime show up next on your Friday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, as we close things out,